Destination mark.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Bandicast Big 30. The anniversary is almost upon us. I'm sorry that as of right now we just have 2 of these out, but I've been busy with a bunch of other Crash community Day stuff in the background. But I have an awesome guest today. In this episode, we have Smaz. Hello.
Hello, it's me, it's Smaz. It's great to be here. Hi, it's great to be finally on the Bandicast.
Yeah. I'm glad that we got to get. I'm glad we got to get this going, like scheduled and all set up, like on the first try, because some people it's like, okay, let's try this, and then like stuff comes up, and again with the time zones, it's like, oh.
Yeah, I can imagine, and yeah, I mean we're a fair time apart as well. So
Yeah.
no, I'm glad we were able to set this up too. Here for Crash's Dirty 30, I guess. It's his 30th anniversary.
I swear, saying it over and over does not really help, like, numb my feelings toward the fact that it's like, how are we already here? How is it already the 30th anniversary?
I know what you mean. I'm just like, wow, 30 years. I feel like we were celebrating his 25th last year and his 20th the year before.
Yeah.
So it's really strange.
No,
here we are.
Oh, man. Okay, so right before we get to the questions, quick disclaimer for anyone listening. Sorry if you hear the fan in the back. It's hot. It's summer. Over here where I am, it sucks. I'm not turning it off. I tried it, and I was like, nah. I'm like already starting to sweat. So I apologize for the freaking buzzing if you hear it in the back. Question 1. Let's get through these questions.
Right.
I ask everyone of these, so again, last one's going to be a little different, a little tweaked for this leg of the podcast, but the first one's always the same. Smaz, what is your history with Crash? When did you first get into the series, and what was the first Crash game you ever played?
Oh, wow. So my history is long and almost as old as Crash himself, if not that.
I thought you were going to say time. Time itself.
Yeah, almost as old as time. So I first got into Crash. I was 6 years old and the most popular student at the academy. I was 6 years old, and seriously, it was like 96. I played Crash Bandicoot 1. It might be 90, started 97 actually. I played Crash Bandicoot 1, and that was the only game that was out on the PlayStation. I played it over a friend's house actually, because back then I didn't own a PlayStation for quite a few years actually. So I played it over there, and we end up just sort of going through the entirety of the first game, bit by bit, struggle by struggle, death by death, until eventually just finally beating Cortex. No way did I collect all the gems back then, not a chance. I was too young for that. But so it pretty much right from the get-go, that was my experience, and it was like that for all of the PlayStation 1 Crash games for me, up until really near the end of the PS1 tenure, because I was just constantly going over friends' places, and like we played Crash Bandicoot games together. When Crash 2 came out, we played Crash 2. When Crash Warped came out, we played that, and I went to CTR.
Nice.
So it's really strange. So it's weird. So I played them in order as they came out, but I didn't own a Crash game until weirdly Crash. I think Crash Bash was my first one, sadly. So and I remember playing this, going, "Oh, this is a game." But then I quickly got CTR, and I loved CTR, and then I acquired the platformers, and it was all good. So it really does go as far back as that, and my love for it is been constant, really. And as ropey as Crash 1 was, I probably didn't fall in love with the series until Crash 2, I think.
Sounds about right.
Back then. Yeah, there are other, and I was playing other games at the time anyway. It's like, oh yeah, let's play through Rayman. Yeah, let's do that. And I was playing loads of other things. And then Crash 2 comes along. It's like, wow. this is such a refinement. I love this.
Peak gaming.
So yeah, peak gaming as like a 7-year-old. No, it was good. Yeah. And then my love for it extended to when I was old enough to finally be online and go on forums and things. Then I ended up going to everywhere because I was just like, I realized I had this a love that kind of extended like way beyond what my friends had in person. They were like, oh yeah, Crash, cool, yeah, I'm just gonna play this other thing now. I'm
Yeah.
like, but Crash. So yeah, I end up going on seeking out places online, back in the days where forums were a thing. And I remember was on it was really the universal forums. I want to call it that because that's what it was, and they just set up, and this was about 2003, so a couple of years later. And there really wasn't many people on there at that time. So I was kind of got in there quite early. I was like, okay, hi people, and you did a few people that were there right from the get-go. It's like, oh hey, jump button, you're here as well. So
That is cool though.
yeah, it was great because you kind of got to know the community because it was kind of smaller net online at the time. So it's like, oh hey Tara, hey jump button, and you kind of got to know these people, and then it kind of expanded and grew and grew and grew, and then it was kind of it was nice to experience that back then, I think. But so it's on the Universal Forum, but I also was on a lot of places back then. I was like, oh yeah, let's go to IGN and like go in their forums and GameSpot and go in their forums. And I literally I spread myself everywhere because I was like, I want to speak with as many people as possible about Crash. And it was great. So that was a whole new dimension because suddenly there's like, you all got to talk about the upcoming Crash games that were coming out, and that was new for me. I was like, wow, I get to speak with other people online about this. And I think Nitro Kart was the one that was just about to come out at that point. And then it was nice doing that, but then everything exploded and changed when Twinsanity was about to come out.
Yeah.
That brought a whole lot of new people to the series. So that's kind of the really the truncated version of my origins and history with Crash. But I honestly, thanks to doing the online stuff, I've like made lifelong friends, and still in touch with HP, ZR, and everyone, and it's great. It's great to still experience that. And have gone through all of that when the Crash revival came along, and speak with them about that too.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, like it's maybe in more recent years I've definitely taken like a back step compared to where I was. That's very, I suppose, more deliberate. That was more deliberate. It was nice seeing like everyone still have their own niches in the Crash community and like flourish and fly and do whatever, but I never really had something to sort of latch onto, so I was like, yeah, I'm fine. But yeah, doing the online stuff was great because one thing led to another, and then you got the inception of the Crash Mania website with HP and the forum that came of that, and I started as a moderator there, then became an admin, and then for many years, and then took again a step back, and it was just nice being with the community for all that time.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
Yeah, many years. So I'm still here. I'm still in the shadows. I still keep an eye on Crash and do things like this.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely not like an active content creator, let's say, these days, compared to like everyone else. So it's nice. You've had loads of names that I remember from back in, names from the forums back in the day that have really like taken off. Whether it's been like Kevin doing his art,
Yeah.
Kevin doing that, and you see people like I don't know, it's just all sorts, and yourself is part of that too.
Oh, you don't lump me in that. I don't think I've received that honor fully yet.
Oh, you're doing the Bandicast. You're doing this. I think this is great community project stuff, honestly. And it's nice to see you heading this. So yeah, it's been lovely, and I still enjoy seeing what the community does and what people come out with. So
Yeah. I mean, well, thank you. I do appreciate. I do appreciate it. Because what prompted me to do this, obviously, I was inspired by Miharu's Spyrocast. Because
Yeah.
that was cool. It was kind of, it's kind of been the gateway, the more modern, current, let's say, actually, gateway to like bringing a lot of those people, together, and meeting new faces, and stuff like that. And what was really cool about doing the Twin Sanity retrospective was I had kind of, I didn't have it written down. It was more like a mental list, but I had a list of people I wanted to hit up. Like you can't talk about Twin Sanity without HP Zone or Beta
Yeah.
M. So like the fact that they even were able
Yes.
to, the fact they said yes, and then were able to come through with it, like nothing came up that had them go, oh sorry man, I can't do this after all. No, everyone that pretty much I wanted made it in. Um, and you had like Terra Nova, and you had like
Yep.
there's so many names. I'm like, I can't believe I got the people that I did because I don't normally. The thing is, how you talked about being in the community and going through the forums back in the day. I'm a little younger than you, but just a couple years. So I was like a little kid when those games were coming out. I was like still in my formative years, freaking like 7, 8 years old. Um,
Yeah.
and just finding out what I liked and didn't like about like Crash or about other games and what have you. And I'm just going through elementary school, and so I'm doing my thing. And like I, our internet situation, I guess back in the day, I never really at that point I didn't use it for much. I remember for like school little like things or whatever they were teaching us how to use floppy disks and stuff, but like I hadn't had to use the internet for anything at that point, and it wasn't until around the Twin Sanity era where I had just kind of discovered YouTube. Like I said in the
Yeah.
retrospective, one of the cut storyboards was like that was the first YouTube video I ever saw. Like I was aware of YouTube, I didn't know what it was. My mom was like, I don't know, they have the potential to post like stupid stuff on there, so I don't want you to see anything that you probably shouldn't see. That's kind of what her preconceived notion of YouTube was back then. It was kind of
Right.
true because YouTube back then was like the wild west of like internet videos. You could find fucking anything on there. But
Yeah.
so she wanted me to be exposed to anything I might not want, like not sex stuff obviously, but just whatever else, like I don't know, raunchy humor or some shit. I don't know.
Sure.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
oh sorry, go ahead.
YouTube was very different back then. I was gonna
Yeah,
say it's like I know for me it was like I was still basically a kid when I started. I was a teenager really online, but like my mom just didn't care. So I just so I was like right YouTube. Fun fact actually, YouTube like 2006 brought I put the first ever Crash videos on there. Not that they're any good, to be fair. It's just like let's it was basically yes, I'll point a webcam at a TV screen, but it's it's just doing
nice.
the Crash boss guides. I just did like little boss videos, and I think the first Crash video is literally on YouTube. And because YouTube was it was so early, it was still like finding its feet and doing its thing.
Hmm.
And I kick myself sometimes, like I could have done something, and I didn't.
I could have been the literal first Crash tuber, and I didn't take that
Could have
opportunity.
been. I never did. Yeah. Um, oh well. These things happen.
It's actually funny because I don't there's a glitch, and I did talk about it again in the video, but there's a funny glitch you can do in I want to say it's in the worm chase segment. You can actually skip the whole chase, and I
Yeah.
found it when I was a kid. I tried recording it. I'm not sure if I actually saved that recording from back in the day at that time. I certainly don't have it now if I ever did actually hold on to it. Uh, but I was really under the assumption that I had actually found that, like I was the first one to find that specific one, because at that time I
Um,
remember watching a bunch of glitch compilations for the game and stuff, and I don't remember ever
yeah.
seeing that one. So when I found that, I was like, "Can you like just not do this part?" And I went up to the pole that Cortex is tied to, and I'm like, "All right, let me see if I can like finagle my way up and over him. I wonder if you can grab the
Yeah.
crystal." And you can, and I'm like, "Oh, oh, that actually works."
Mhm.
And I never posted it, so. Uh,
Oh no.
come to find out later that like I think other people did find it too, because the clip that I used in the retrospective wasn't my footage, so I was like, yeah, I was probably not the only one to find it or the first one to find it, but I remember being excited for myself back in the day, going like, whoa, I don't. First off, this is possible. Second off, I don't know if anyone else has done that.
I mean, yeah, and Twin Sanity is absolutely full of like strange glitches and fun things that people have found, and I don't think it really was until those videos anyway that people had a decent way of like tracking those things.
Yeah.
Because yeah, 'cause they were just numerous, they're plentiful. I had this weird thing back in the day, like even though my first YouTube video was like, yes, webcam pointing at TV, I
We've all
used to
been
do
there.
this weird, yeah, I used to do this weird thing of like, oh god, this shows my age. I hate this. Of like, I used to use like video players and VHSs, and like I used to hook it up to the PlayStation and like record it,
That's awesome.
and record glitches and things. I remember doing. I did a weird compilation of the when Twin Sanity came up, but I also did some for the like Crash 2 and 3, because there was some weird glitch in like digging it where you could like, if you span in the right place, you know, the ground that you can dig under, you can go into the nether regions and just go across the whole map. I mean, it's all these things are like well documented now, but as a kid, when you haven't seen anyone do anything like that, you're like, wow, this is awesome. So yeah, internet really changed the community. But
With Twin Sanity too, that was around the time where I do remember, yeah, being on the internet, because I remember going to the website and it was all, that was when it was like, here's all the Twin Sanity stuff, um, but I was not aware of like forums and stuff. I didn't know that was a thing. So like, if I was, I would have definitely checked them out. But like,
yeah,
I had no idea. Well, I didn't even know what a forum was. That's how that's how like inexperienced
yeah,
and all that stuff I was. So like, I could have met you guys so much earlier in my life. I think if I just knew what that was, um, but I was still trying to figure out how YouTube worked, and like, and the funny thing was,
yeah.
I got all my Crash news from like Wikipedia, because I'd scroll down to the external links and check like everything that was listed at the bottom, and if I saw a new title pop up I'd never seen before, I was like, oh my god, there's a new game.
Well, the crazy thing is, back then, it was a case of like, we were so like a lot of the Wikipedia stuff, and I guess Bandipedia by that measure, a lot of that stuff, at least in the earlier days, was like very much tied to what we were finding on Crash Mania. Like we were like doing stuff as a community, and then like we'd post whatever on there and whatnot, and then you'd find it next, like maybe a couple of days later or the next day on Wikipedia. It was kind of great because you felt like you contributed something like
Hmm.
to the wider community, and put it in the more accessible format. So it was really good. I do miss that sort of thing, but you don't really have that now. Forums aren't so much a thing. I mean, Reddit took over, and now it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish we could have like a new little Crash hub like that. I definitely understand that, you know, he's doing other things now, but I remember seeing the last post um, on Crash Mania, I was like, oh, he's ending it. No, he's not gonna update it anymore. No.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was not to take words out of his mouth. I remember that being a really tough decision for
Yeah.
HP. But I get it. Like I totally get it.
Yeah.
But of course we have things like Discord now, and
True.
YouTube's still about, and yeah, all sorts. So you know, the community lives just in different ways.
Yeah, yeah, having to just adapt to how, well, adapting to, yeah, the different things that are coming and going, but just adapting to the way these long-standing things like YouTube and Discord are like changing nowadays.
Yeah,
Um, just having to like navigate through, and again, yeah, establishing these hubs. Like Miharu has her hub, CG has his hub. I've kind of got my tiny little thing going on, but how we all kind of hop around our own little like biomes, I guess, of
yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, those fans go over to like so and so streams. They come over here sometimes. They all end up on our podcast. So like,
Yeah.
this is, I guess, kind of the modern like Crash and Spyro like
So
sphere.
yeah, it's an evolution, a Crash
I was gonna
evolution.
say Crash Evolution. Um, okay, So moving forward a little bit, which Crash game is your favorite, and what are your favorite aspects about it?
I would change my answer. I think any like, if you were to ask me tomorrow, my answer would probably be different. So, so my favorite Crash game really does depend on the time you ask. So, I think overall, for better or worse, my favorite Crash game is Twin Sanity, and a lot of people will be
Okay.
like, "Oh, how dare you!
That's
That awful thing that's glitchy as heck." But I have, I really like the direction of Twin Sanity. I think it comes out, it's swinging. It knows what it is, and it knows it's more of a fun, tongue-in-cheek take on the Crash formula and franchise. And I think,
yeah,
you know, but even back when when it first came out, it was definitely a refreshing. It refreshed the series in a really nice way, and I thought it was getting just a little bit stale just at that point where it's just constantly the same thing. So it was a really nice thing. So I look back at it fondly, but I still come back to it and play it all the time. I don't think there's ever I never get bored of it. I always go back and I play it and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a fun time. With any Crash game, I tend to pick it up and play it for a bit and I'm like, okay, that was fun. Twin Sanity, it's very hard for me to put that game down. I normally just go through the whole thing. So it's just a joy. I just like, you've got Cortex is just really funny in it constantly. He's just great.
yeah,
And I just like his dynamic, and it's like, okay, he's no longer just an evil scientist. He is a funny evil scientist who is neurotic, deranged, he's got problems, and he is brilliant. So his dynamic with Crash is great throughout that. And I just enjoy a lot of the level design as well. It's just fun. It's a lot of fun. But I definitely have a lot of strong feelings for Crash Team Racing as well.
yeah,
Really love Crash Team Racing. I'm going to say Nitro Fueled in particular in this instance because I loved CTR, the original, anyway, a lot, and CTR comes along, and in my honest opinion, it improves the original.
Mhm.
So Nitro Fueled is probably a close second for me. And I have to mention it. It's because that game is just so fun, and it's great to like actually be able to customize your vehicles, your engines, you're doing whatnot, and it's just the full cast. Such a big cast of Crash characters in that
yeah.
game. Some
Uh,
great tracks, and yeah, I love it. And of course, you could play that on your own, or you can play it with friends. It's brilliant. So yeah,
no, yeah, it has the best of everything. I'm under the belief that we are never gonna get another game like Nitro Field. That time was just magical in the sense that like not only did again I meet some new faces who are still my friends to this day through that, um and getting to play just with a bunch of other online friends, and of course with Miharu, we were grinding out the Grand Prix whenever they would go live. But like I don't think anyone was prepared for it to just go from a simple hey we're redoing CTR with a couple little like C and K nods to like this is a celebration of just the whole fucking series.
yeah, right,
Like
yeah.
it does not, and I was waiting for this for so long, and it's really sad to see that there's still that kind of radical era hate with like Titans and stuff. But I was so glad with the little crumbs we got here and there that like even Nitrofield was like, nah, we are not shying away from the radical era. You've got like the evil Crunch and Coco outfits. You have just little things like that. Um, they celebrated everything. I think the only thing they left out was Boom Bang.
Yeah.
but like
I think we can slide.
I
We can
mean
let that one slide. That's fine.
I was like, hey, can the Viscount at least be playable? Because that'd be sick. Just something for
Yeah.
that game. A little tiny, like, okay, here you go. You existed once.
Oh yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah. We instead we get a crate, which is. I mean, I'm here for the crate.
No, but see, even that, they not only were they like really in with the memes, but we even got Hasty out of it, which was like, okay,
We did.
if you know your Crash history, and the fact that we found out later, like, he wasn't even supposed to be a CTR character. He was not a cut character. According to Charles and Billis, he got like lumped in with a bunch of other things that he did, which I think happened to like end up in the CTR stuff. But regardless, the fact that they paid attention to the history and still made a cool original character out of it, like that was awesome. They didn't have to do
I
that.
agree. It's just such a deep cut. I think it was amazing. I remember seeing because we came with I think it was like the December
Yes.
release of the DLC, and it was it was just such a oh my word, these guys are doing their homework. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's great, honestly, and I love Nitro Fueled. I did get a little bit fatigued with it at the time because I was constantly on there, but just trying to grind coins. But yeah, it's up there for me, and I love a lot of the Crash games, even ones that some people will. I mean, I'm sure it'll come up later, but I like ones that a lot of people hate as well.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a
Same.
special place in my heart for both Twin Sanity and Nitro Fueled. And if we're talking the original trilogy, then probably Crash 2 is my favorite of that too. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Very, very good. Yeah, I love also when people do actually give props to the very first game because like it was super sick hearing that you actually grew up with, even if you didn't own them at first, that you like went through them pretty much chronologically because that's how I grew up with them. To my
Mm.
knowledge, with my very very brief history, um, as far back as I can remember, I remember playing Crash One. It's one of my like literal earliest memories. Uh, and I remember playing Crash 1 first because I was when I started playing video games I was like probably 2 or 3, so that's 97, 98. So yeah, Crash 2, Crash 3 would be like the hotness around that time. And so but I remember playing the first one first. Then I remember playing 2, then I remember my you know experiences with 3, and so like I remember going in order. I'm pretty sure that's how I did it. Um and the first game is just so like not only is it a good setup for everything that came after, but like it really laid this groundwork for like how platformers can come out of the 2D space and like be just simple and have a little bit of challenge, but like it makes you kind of think. I mean, I like how Crash gets a lot of flack for that. The first one in particular for being like a hard platformer when like a lot of these people were probably like Mega Man fans or like Sonic fans, and it's like those games can get hard too, you know. Like Crash was just
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
find his feet, like his legs around that time. So like I think maybe give it a little wiggle room because the second one, yeah, it's basically improved on just about everything. Um,
Well, I do think there's a large part of joy I have for Crash One and the fact that it's like a pure platformer. It's like here are here are platforms literally floating in the middle of nowhere. Jump on them type thing. Whereas
yeah.
2 and 3 don't have so much of that. They do have it, but they don't have so much of that. But one is very heavy on that. It's very much about doing that and timed platforms and timed precision. Whereas 2 and 3 just they're just different beasts entirely. And I think that you see the evolution in not just the franchise, but where platformers are going in general
Yeah.
at that time. So I appreciate 2. I think what 2 does over 1 best for me is like it develops the control scheme of Crash. It's a lot tighter,
Oh, for sure. Yes.
and
Yes.
it's yeah, it's just great, and that is brilliant. But I do have a soft spot in my heart for Crash One for being that pure platform, and it is more difficult as a result, just because there's bottomless pits and things you can drown in everywhere, just
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah.
Whereas 2 is very much more like here's a path and there's some pits along the way. It's very different.
Yeah, 2 and 3 are very more organic in how it presents the challenges, and it feels more like okay, this would like these areas, these places, these challenges and these structures you have to jump on. They feel pretty well, naturally integrated into the world. Because we have to remember too,
Yeah.
it's not like he's on some fantastical planet. This is still Earth, so like even though it's all fictional, still trying to like you know base some of these challenges and these structures and how it all works into like some modicum of reality. Like it's still really cool because it feels that much more you can connect with it better, or I think more than something like, I don't know, fucking Glover or Mario 64, where like those are literal nebulous voids with like weird ass rotating blocks that have like checkerboard
Yeah.
patterns and shit, and like that's fine if people like that aesthetic. That's cool. It's very abstract, and I'm not, I don't dislike abstract, but like for a platformer, especially ones that try to trick you or try to keep you on your toes, Mario and stuff like that don't really. Mario 64 specifically, let me say, doesn't really do it for me. Crash always felt way more grounded, way more like, even again the first game with having the bottomless pits and the many different platforms in like sequence you had to jump on and not fall. It
Yeah.
still felt very much like there was a natural, okay, you're on the beach, you're on this way far off island, then you got to get through all the ruins and the tribesmen's areas and stuff, and then you get and go up these streams and things, and then you gotta go to the next island where it's ruins and there's a volcano, you're going underground with Kuala
Right.
Kong, and then you get to the factories and stuff of Cortex's island where he's taken over that island pretty much, and like it just felt so fucking natural, and it only gets better with 2 and 3 because of how they switched up the way they design levels, and
Yeah.
they still keep the things like in Crash 1. It's always cool. Everyone points it out. I do too. Where like you can see Cortex's castle in the background, and it gets closer and closer as you go along. In Crash 3, in most of the medieval levels, you can see the castle that you're heading towards to end the level in the
Yeah.
distance, and then as you get closer, it swaps it out for because it's like part of the skybox. I think it swaps it out for the actual model. It's so sick. Stuff like that is so cool.
Yeah. I love stuff like that. It's great. Um, yeah. Yeah. I wish more games did things like that. Just even even like you can see Naughty Dog naturally do that anyway with like when Jack and Daxter comes along and they start doing things like that, the scenery and but I love it when things like that happen, and Crash is one thing I definitely love about Crash 1 is that you do feel like you're on one continuous journey
Mm-hmm.
to Cortex Castle, so and it does help immerse you into that journey by doing things like that. So yeah, I love that. I do love that.
Well, I'm glad that we got a lot out of the things we love, because now it's time to talk about things we don't like. Which Crash game's your
Oh,
least favorite, and what are your least favorite aspects about it? Here we go.
oh, yay! My least favorite Crash game by a country mile is Crash Boom Bang. I
Let's
really
go.
hate that game. I really hate that game. It's just what is it? It's I don't think there aren't many things I like about it. I think is the problem. It comes out swinging and goes, "Hey, we're Crash's 10th anniversary game. Celebrate with us." And it's like the worst birthday party ever. So you get, you get
The
you get
cake's
all these kind
ruined.
of the cake's
No one
ruined, the
brought
balloons
snacks.
are popped. Yeah, exactly.
Soda went
And
fucking stale or
yeah, the
flat.
snacks are like yeah, exactly. The snacks and the drinks are like year old Doritos and Pepsi. I really don't like that game. It's just like none of the mini games are that enjoyable. They're over very quickly, mercifully. But they just. But even when you play the mini games, you get these sort of shout boxes from the
Oh, the
either or the
taunting
AI
sucks,
constantly. Yeah,
dude.
the taunts. I hate it so much. It's like great. I can't even enjoy this game. Can't enjoy this mini game. And then of course you get the board. You just rolling these dice and just trying to navigate on these little boards.
They're
I
confusing.
just they are. I just always remember going across the desert and like constantly like searching these tiles to get the pieces I need to progress. And it can take anywhere between like, I don't know, 10 minutes to like several hours. It's just
Oh
based
my
on
god.
luck. I hate it so much. Um yeah. So Crash Boom Bang, I really don't like. I Yeah, miles above everything else. I know there are like other versions of some games that aren't great that I'm not fond of, like the GS version of Mind Over Mutant, for instance, is just not a fun play. But at least we have the console version of Mind Over Mutant, so I can't really categorize that in the same way. And Crash of the Titans on the Game Boy Advance, terrible. I would not play that again. But like even Crash Bash has its merits. Like I look at Crash Bash and I go, okay, it's a party game. It's not great, but it still has some good games in there.
Yeah,
Crash
yeah.
Boom Bang doesn't really even have that. So yeah,
I can't even remember. There's like a plain one in Boom Bang.
yeah, there
That's
is.
as
Yeah,
much as much as I remember. There's one we have to like blow up a balloon like really, really big. I think.
yep, yep.
Um, See, the thing with Crash Bash, just really quick, is like a lot of people. I think I've had a couple guests here, and that was their go-to, and I'm like, that makes sense, because it's so funny. I remember back when I was first talking with just various friends here and stuff about Crash. Bash never came up that frequently, but I feel like really now a lot of people are starting to go, dude, and I'm like, okay, well, the thing is, a lot of the people that I hear really bash on Bash is that it's because they went for 200%, and I'm like, oh well, there's your problem. You're trying to complete a fucking party game. Like, when I was a kid, I just played until I believe I got to Oxide in the main story. I didn't really unlock every mini game. There are still mini games I have never played to this day, but you know what? I'm fine with that because it's a party game. It's just meant to be something you play for like maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and just see who can get the 3 trophies, and then you're done. That's all you need. Like the story mode, I never. I got some work done in it as a kid. I'm sure I still have a couple of old save files on 1 or 2 of my memory cards, but like I I have no interest in trying to like unlock every single mini game and get all of the crystal challenges and the relics and that. No, dude, there's
Oh
why
no.
bother? It's Crash Bash. Why bother?
Crash Bash is yeah, I really I feel you on that, and I think Crash Bash, you're right, does get a lot of love from the community. It gets a lot of love these days, and I I sort of see it, but also I'm like, oh guys, oh have you actually played through the game recently from like the adventure mode from top to start to end? It's an experience. Um, I it was my the first Crash game I owned, and when I got it, I only really had that in I want to say Final Fantasy 9. So
Hmm.
I had a lot of heart. I had a lot of time with Crash Bash when I was a kid to get to know it very intimately, more than I dare wanted to really. So and me being me back then, I was like, well, I've completed the other games around friends. Why don't I just see if I can fully complete Crash Bash? It's not worth it, guys. It's just not worth it. It's,
There you go.
I started that, and me being me, and like I used to play Crash obviously at friends' places. I was like, oh yeah, bring Crash Bash over, and we'll play the adventure mode with one of my friends, and we'll go through it, and we'll go through as much as we can. Um, until obviously they hate the game so much they drop out, and then you're like, right, but I'm too far into the save now. I don't want to start over. So let's see if we can try and fully complete this with just a dead teammate. And that's what I did back then. And I think I was insane. And I still look back at that and I go, yeah, what were you thinking, Smaz?
Oh my
I
god.
do not advise anyone to do that because gem challenge is awful, 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 awful. It's like
Yeah.
all of those are like reduced scores and things, and you need a teammate to help do that. Whereas crystal challenges are at least doable. But yeah, I don't know. I've played Crash Bash several times over the years. I've gone back to it, and I do think there are genuinely some great enjoyable games on there. I
Oh,
just
for sure.
everyone loves Space Bash. Everyone
Yes.
loves Space Bash.
Yes.
Everyone loves that to bits. I love Metal Fox, and I
Yes.
actually yeah,
Yes.
Metal Fox is great. And I also love weirdly of all the Pong based ones, the ballistics. I actually quite like Beach Ball.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
But
the magnetic one, right?
yeah, the magnet. That's right, the
Yes.
magnet. Yeah.
That one was
So
fun.
there are definitely games in there that I'm like, okay, yeah, this is fun, but I couldn't. It's just so repetitive, and when people go, yeah, we want a Crash Bash remake, I'm like, oh, guys, think about what you say.
I
Maybe a Crash Bash remake where they only have the good games,
um I mean,
and
okay,
some new ones.
I
So
was gonna
yeah.
say, to play devil's advocate, essentially. I don't think it wouldn't work. It's just you'd have to like up the hell out of the ante on that. You'd have to like make the existing games really, really fun and replayable. Take
Yeah.
out all of the busy work of having to complete them like 3 times over or whatever, and like
Offer the
really
trophies
cut
and
out the
stuff.
the repetition of it all. And create some brand new mini games that are like legit really fun. Add a couple new characters for both teams.
Hmm.
Since we have a huger cast now compared to back then, and like you'd have to overhaul the fuck out of it. You'd have to like really put in the work to make it. But then you'd have, I mean, not to say that everyone's playing it right now necessarily. A lot of people dropped off it a couple of years ago, but like it's kind of what season two, like the party mode of like Rumble was, I guess. I mean, people are. I hate to really go into like the comparisons of like, oh, what's Crash Team Rumble? It's just fucking Crash Bash. It's like, okay, no, like
No.
Rumble's main loop is super fucking fun. But the party mode stuff is fun in its own right, and it does require a lot of teamwork and this and that. And when season two was the hotness, like it was fun playing with a lot of my friends and like having to coordinate and do stuff because the game was going kind of slow and stuff, and it wasn't even really at its utmost potential because of the whole situation with all of that. Like,
Hmm.
what we got was still very, very fun, but how you were saying, like, you play it enough, and, like, yeah, it just kind of is like, okay, I'm ready for something else now, and this isn't going to get updated, so this can sit here, I suppose. But it was fun for, you know, while it was there,
Yeah,
and all that.
I enjoyed Crash Team Rumble quite a bit. It's just it did strangely it did get old fast, and I don't know what it was about it. Looking back at it, but it was enjoyable. I just wish there was a little more. I don't know, a little more to it. Maybe I don't know. I just got tired of it very quickly, but I enjoyed what I played.
Yeah. I guess it was because it was. Well, obviously, it was Crash's first step into trying to go live service and everything, and Battle Royale and what have you. And it was an awesome first attempt. I mean, the
Mm,
gameplay loop, getting invited out with CG to Activision to play it, I understand why they did that. It was so that way. Because I think they knew, which you could look at it, 2 ways. Like, on one hand, if you know when you throw this trailer out and you announce it at the Game Awards that like people are gonna get excited about it and go, that looks fun. It's a party game. It's the third one we've gotten in the series. Shit looks dope. But then on the other hand, it's like, well, what do you do in it? Like what's the goal of the game? I just see people characters running around killing each other. What's the point of the game? And so they invited us out, and we're playing it. I'm like, I fucking get it. I get it now. Like it's so like having to bank the Wumpa in, go and like make sure no one else the other team doesn't bank theirs in, and you have to sabotage and you have to work together. I'm like, that's just the main gameplay loop. That's before they added everything else in. I'm like, I get it now. This is actually really fun. We only played for 3 hours, but like, and I think something like that. I think what Rumble was missing that was there and it was present when we were all there in the same room is the camaraderie of being in one spot. That very
mm,
part of it, I think, because being on Discord and talking to your friends and doing it that way is fun, but you're only talking to like your 3 other teammates. Like you don't get, obviously you don't get the other side, which makes sense. But like it would be, and that's why like going into like playing online with your friends and not like going through competitive with randos, like playing with your friends and doing a lobby of 8 so you can 4v4 was sick because you could if you wished. I mean, when I did it, I would have in our server like separate rooms, so that way we couldn't overlap too much for the streams that we were doing, or like, yeah, that way you couldn't really hear their strategies and stuff. But like when that is kind of in the mix and you're all there, again going back to the event, we were all there, and so like when we were like literally like tens of fruits away, or like maybe 100 fruit away, um, both teams we were just shouting and like go get him, he's got like a bunch of wump on him, and it was fucking electric. It was
mm.
awesome.
Yeah, I
And
can
when one
imagine that would
team
have been, yeah.
and when one team finally actually banked it and won, we were like, yeah! And like everyone was just going crazy. It was really sick. Um,
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I think that would have been fun. And I actually, you know what? I think you hit the nail on the head thinking about it in terms of like yourself, actually myself as well, and a lot of people in the community were like, what is this game? What is
yeah.
this genre? Because no one could really figure it out before playing it. And I actually think that works against Crash Team Rumble. I still want to call it Wumpa League. I still want to call it Wumpa League. It works against Crash Team Rumble because you, it, I can imagine there's probably a lot of people that didn't play it because they didn't really know what it was or didn't want to play it because they're like, oh, it's just an online mass online battle arena game or something.
Yeah.
And it's not really quite that. It's a lot more than that. But there's nothing quite like it. So I
Oh,
will give Crash Team Rumble that. It's yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame.
that was what was cool about it at the time. I think, again, the mystique surrounding it was a double-edged sword, and the confusion around it because when like Jez Corden and them were all talking about it and giving us kind of through their podcast just for us who were sleuthing around for more info on Wumpa League, they'd kind of give a little bit of crumbs, being like, oh, there's this thing called Project Lava. Oh, how cool would it be if
Mhm.
Activision did a little Crash multiplayer game? That'd be kind of sick. And even when he would kind of go into a little more detail, being like, well, I've seen it. I can't say I've seen anything like it. It really, I remember back in the day for me, listening to that stuff and reporting on it through my own videos. But actually hearing what they were saying about it, it really kind of made me hyped because I'm like, are we gonna get something we've never gotten before? And that was the case. But yeah, I think the couple things that kind of hinder Rumble in the long run, which again is no fault of Toys for Bob, it was just the hand they were dealt with all of the stuff that was going on around that time with all the Activision
Yeah.
nonsense. But like, um, what ultimately hinders Rumble is the fact that it is just an online only live service battle royale, and there's no
Yeah.
real the only literal single player, I have to put air quotes around that, single player offline content is the fucking like training mode. that, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, that's a good point. I definitely had issues with that at the time because I was like, I wanna also do some offline stuff, and there just wasn't that option with that. But
yeah. Because I remember
oh
going,
well.
I was going into it under the pretense of like, so I guess we're gonna get like a story mode or maybe like a little bit of offline content. And that's the other thing. What hinders it is that like, I think it just has half of what makes like, say again, like Nitro Field so cool is that it's got all the single player offline stuff you remember. You can still do local co op with your friends in the same room on the couch, on the same console, do 4 player, whatever. You got your battle stuff, so you've got plenty of stuff to chew on offline. And then when you go online for all the new stuff to grind it out, like again, Miharu and I, we would even because it was the two of us, we would like just spend nights going match after match after match, like just letting her win or letting me win, so we can get the most coins out of it, so we can like then just take everything out of the pit stop. Um, and so it, that was what made Nitro Field so cool. It had the offline and the online, but Rumble only has online. And if it had
Yeah.
anything, even if the party mode stuff, you could play offline with like some CPUs, and then tweaking things like that, live. Like the CPUs got harder to deal with, or they got easier. Like they were way too easy to KO. Um, the balancing of other characters. Like they nerfed Coco and Crash because they could take out Dingo really easily. Then they made it to where Dingo was like, because Dingo at first was like a fucking powerhouse, and it was really, you
Yeah.
were afraid of Dingo for like the first couple months of Rumble, and then
Hmm.
Dingo was kind of a pushover because if you're like a Coco and a Crash, you could like take him out real easily if you teamed up on him. And Cortex, oh God forbid we talk about Cortex. um, it was, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
there,
say a what.
I was going to say actually, there were quite a few broken. It's interesting. Characters were broken at very different points, and I'm just like, wow,
Yeah,
actually, quite a lot of them were broken at various different points. Yeah, it's a good point. And Cortex, I do remember that he was a menace.
that damn piano. Oh,
Yes.
PTSD rather. um,
Yeah.
Even the little weird things like nerfing Cat Bat because of that one move they could do where it's like, well, it's the diving move. The diving move with Cat
Yeah.
Bat, if you landed it, you like immediately just like went back into like standing, and you can like so you can bam hit someone from above and then just kind of get away real quick, or you could kind of spam that a little. So they had to put their version of a cooldown was to have like a little face plant move. If you took the whole the way to mitigate that was if you were Cat Bat and you flew downward to do that airstrike move, you'd have to like cancel the move immediately and just pray the hitbox can actually hit them as you hit the ground. Because if you just try and like actually land the move, you'll do that little splat animation and it kind of cancels everything out anyway.
Hmm.
Um, so it was kind of a way to like cool that move down, I guess. But it was really weird. There's just so many little weird tweaks they did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
But yeah, no, it's just funny thinking back on it. I'm like, wow, I do remember that, and I remember people spamming it against me online and being like, right, now let's see if I can learn that trick.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and matches evolved into that. It's yeah, it's funny thinking
It,
back on it.
it was cool how if you found someone in particular that was really good at a character and you did see that's the thing there was still some camaraderie there because and connection because if you actually ended up talking to those people and being like if they weren't trying to just dick around with you if they were actually like good with the character and they were a chill person in general you could be like hey so like how are you doing all that stuff and you talk to them they could kind of like give you some pointers as to like oh well this is how that the fact that it feels almost very fighting game like in the sense of if you if and that's what also set Rumble apart from other games. Like again, going back to Crash Bash, it's just chaos. There's no real skill involved in Crash Bash, and I couldn't even speak to fucking Boom Bang. But like with Rumble, like there was, and this is kind of evocative of CTR, sort of, I suppose. Like if the base stuff anyone can do is good and all that, but like if you know the mechanics, if you know how to keep like blue fire, uh, and like in Rumble, if you know how to just manipulate those hitboxes or manipulate the timing of certain things you can summon or whatever, you could do a lot of damage with characters. And in some cases with the damage output or whatever, that's what made them kind of broken. Like Coco for a while.
Mm.
I'm a Coco main, so like I fucking went ham when she and Crash were really powerful, and I have a couple clips, like a couple YouTube shorts I made of like, yeah, if you just know what you're doing with the character, you can like, I tried to get a movement for blocker Coco going because I was like, if under just the right circumstances and you know her just well enough, she's kind of a blocker in disguise if you are just really really like in and out and make sure she doesn't get hit too much and keep your health, monitor your health and you just use your wall and you just fucking like the body slam was like the move you wanted to do. Um, my God, it was crazy.
Yeah, I remember there were a lot of really good Coco players out there.
Oh
Actually,
yes,
I
I ran
remember.
into a bunch.
Yeah, I just remember like whenever running into a team that had Coco on, I'd be like, right, is this going to be someone who's amazing at it, or is it going to be someone that's like, I like Coco and we can deal with that? No, about 90% of the time, it's like, oh yeah, this Coco players, yeah, they know what they're doing. They're really good. Um, God, I remember that. Yeah, fun.
Really
Crash
really
Team
fun.
Rumble was fun.
Boom Bane though, just to go back to the topic at hand, was really something else
Not
because
fun.
not fun because I remember I didn't have it took me a while to get a DS. I didn't even have the original. I ended up getting the DSi, and as I was trying to get a DS, I kept asking for one for like my birthdays and for like Christmases and whatever, and I hadn't gotten one for like the longest time, and around that time, I was like, "Oh, there's a Crash on DS! Like, I want to play it, and it's a party game. Like, we haven't had that since Bash, so like, I was excited for it, and I hadn't heard
Oh,
of."
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I could hear you like, "Oh
I
no,"
did the same thing. I did the same thing. I know where this is going.
because I didn't hear. I mean, it was still so early in its lifespan of it being out that I didn't hear any of the reception to it, And so, despite me, starting to slowly use the internet more and more, not necessarily to hear other people's thoughts, but I would hear things as I would go along or whatever. And so, like, I hadn't heard anything on Boom Bang, so I'm like, as far as I'm concerned, this is going to be a fun time. And I finally got my hands on it, and I played it, and I was like,
Yeah.
yikes. Zoinks, even.
Yeah.
Like, what happened here?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what the fuck is it? Hey, at least they brought Tana back. That's something, right?
Yeah. I remember that was kind of like, everyone was like, oh yeah, she's back. And Pinstripe, you can play as Pinstripe. And it was just, but at what cost?
They made Polar and Pura bipedal. That was a choice.
That's, yeah.
God. Fucking Boom Bang.
Yeah.
It's a very easy go-to to be like, hey, what's your least favorite? Yep, that one. Like, yes, I definitely get it. I've been there.
I have reasons. I have many reasons. It's just not. It's not one I ever feel compelled to be like, right, I feel like playing Crash Boom Bang today. And it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, you know who wakes up in the morning and says that shit? A crazy person.
Yeah. Hopefully that's not you.
No, I would never do that. I'm not even gonna beat fucking Bash 200%, not even 100%. I'm gonna wake up in the morning and go, I haven't played Boom Bang in a while. I'm gonna boot that up again.
Bash isn't even. At least Bash has some stuff. Boom Bang, what are you? You're just there. You exist.
You exist. I mean, again, the Viscount's like a cool design. I could see that design, like that character existing in like another Crash game, and with again Nitrofield like giving just so much love to Yaya Panda made it in before the Viscount.
I know.
So like,
it was just awesome.
It was sick.
Do you know what? I would have liked to hear the Viscount's voice.
Yes,
I would like to hear the interpretation of that.
Yes, just make him smarmy and fucking little rich boy. Like, that would have been so funny.
Like, yeah, it's Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah. It would have been cool. Because one of Miharu's favorite characters that isn't from any traditional Crash game is Yaya. For the fact that not only is she like cute, but like she comes from this fucking obscure mobile game that was at the tail end of like what I call the pre-hiatus era of Crash, right before the series went on hiatus. And so like who remembers that game, let alone Yaya Panda, right? But they brought her back and they made her cool, and she's got spunk and attitude, and they lumped her in with like Coco and all the other girl characters, and she's fun. And so they gave her that's again the thing that Nitrofield did. They gave so many characters that just were there for like a little bit, or again like one game. They gave them personality, and it was cool.
Yeah, it was. I really appreciate things like that, and I actually played as Yaya quite often, because I was like, oh yeah, this is a bit different. This is great.
Yeah.
My favorite to play was always Entrance in Nitrofield, but it's great to have representation to those characters that just barely got any light of day. So I love Nitrofield so much for that. So yeah, it would have been great to see the Viscount in that, or
it would have been funny,
or Willy Wampa Cheeks, or one of the other few characters we didn't get.
Yeah, I remember making a couple of videos. Well, one in particular, I was like, hey, I can think of like 20 different characters you could possibly put in. And this was right before Velo got in, like Emperor Velo. So I was like, yeah, let's see the Viscount, let's see Willy Wampa Cheeks, let's see like, I said both. I think I lumped them into one little like number, like, oh, number 7, this one. I was like, oh, hey, what about like a lab assistant and a tribesman? And the tribesman didn't make it in, but the lab assistant did. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I was like, oh, hey, if we want to really scrape the bottom of the barrel, the hog. Because, I mean, at least, Crash gets to ride Polar, he gets to ride Baby T. They're both playable racers. Why not the hog from the first game?
The hog, yeah. Give it? I reckon if it had a few more, like, seasons or whatever, yeah, I reckon the hog probably would have made it in eventually.
Yeah.
But see, just great. Let's see what other obscure characters you could get. Mr. Crumb in there. Yeah,
Mr.
why
Crumb. I mean, though that's what
Right.
made On the Run so cool is that they took that torch and ran with it because like freaking yeah, we got Mr. Crumb, we got Tree Thing, we got the fucking. They even brought back scrapped characters. They brought the freaking pink elephant from Twin Sanity.
I know that's really strange to me, by the way, that they did that.
Yeah,
It's like because it's like having something obscure, which is like a scrapped character, but then it's having like a scrapped enemy.
that's straight up like if you know, you know. That's for the fans. That ain't for no casual
Yeah,
player.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I appreciate. I mean, but here's the difference with On the Run. It's great that they're there, but I feel like they're just
There.
they're just there. Yeah, like there's random
Yeah.
enemies and things. Whereas I feel like Nitro Fuel came along and went, okay, here's a full personality and characters to go with that. So I think Nitro Fuel actually did take a step further in what they did with the characters they include, whether that's Hasty or Yaya or whoever. So, but yeah, it's I do appreciate even On the Run. I do appreciate that they still had some stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Annoyed,
Him too. You know, famous Crash character.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a betrayal to Pizza Hut because that was the joint that Crash originally ran with.
Oh, oh yeah.
Turn the crust
Pizza
to
Hut
the pizza
demos.
and eat the crust first. Oh jeez. Um. All right. Well, I did talk about the pre hiatus, post hiatus. So, what were you doing at the time to fill that like void where we didn't have any new Crash games? So during the hiatus era, were you finding like new franchises? Were you just playing old stuff? Were you playing Crash, hoping and wondering when he was ever going to come back? Like, what was your gaming life around that time, from like 2010 to 2016, like right before E3?
Yeah, I really I remember that time really well because it just seemed like a barrage of like really negative things just hit my life at that point. And Crash,
Oh,
the casualty of Crash being like no just on hiatus was horrendous to me because I was like I looked forward at that point to his next game, and it looked like Crash Landed was going to be great, but no, that's a real
yeah.
shame. So gaming wise, I remember I actually flipped to a lot. Weirdly, I flipped to a lot of the handheld stuff at the time.
Oh,
Um, we I think just because gaming in general was heading in a direction where it was just very much more like there was a lot of first person shooters coming out. There's a lot of more
yeah.
what I call gritty games that come out, but they were never really my alley. They were never really my thing. So, but what I found was that the DS and I guess at the time the PSP, they
Mm-hmm.
just had a lot of stuff on there that was just a lot more varied and a lot more exciting to me. So I was exploring things like I, I was always a big Final Fantasy fan, so I was like, right, let's explore Dissidia on the PSP, and let's explore Kingdom Hearts: Birth by Sleep, which evaded me at the time. Let's explore some rhythm games on the DS, and I went down that avenue for quite a bit before just focusing on my life because I did fall out of love for gaming for a few years. It was that particular era of all things,
Oh,
and I came back to it's just where it was going. So there are definitely a few years where I didn't do much, and it's focused on my life and did other things. And then I came back to gaming. I believe actually it was of all things PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale when that
yep.
came out. That was what kind of brought me back into it because I was like, okay, maybe I should explore some of the franchises that were represented in there. So um I actually explored some of the PS3 Ratchet and Clank games, which I never touched by that at that point, and I explored BioShock and I explored God of War and other things that I'd never really touched
Oh,
before that. And I do attribute that to thanks to PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale. Weirdly, um, so it's just me hoping Crash would get in there, but he never did. So, but I explored the other stuff, and uh, I got really into. I explored a lot of Dragon Ball Z games at the time, so I got to a lot of fighters as well in general.
nice.
Um, So I explored a lot of Tekken. I explored a lot of
Hell yeah.
Soul Calibers. So it was, yeah. I started doing that a lot more around that point. But yeah, I guess uh, I can talk about, like, a lot of big stuff was happening in my life as well. So I ended up moving anyway cross country and focused on that and my job and my I guess my ex now, my ex at the time,
Mm.
who was, was originally on the Crash forums. So it was funny that.
Oh wow.
Um, so so that's kind of where that happened. I wish that was more of an exciting answer, but it kind of wasn't.
I mean,
I just explored a lot of things like that. So yeah.
it was a really kind of confusing time, I think, for like a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. For me, I mean, I have a somewhat similar, very very slightly similar kind of thing with that of like when I noticed things were changing, a lot more shooters. All my friends were talking about fucking Call of Duty and Battlefield and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and I would see those trailers around. I remember the original Modern Warfare 3 was like, the
Yeah.
original Modern Warfare 2 was the hotness. Like that was the one everyone was playing, everyone was talking about. For PS3, Xbox 360, obviously more 360. Uh, and then I remember when I was in high school, Modern Warfare 3 had come out, and that was a big one. And I remember a lot of my friends during our breaks, we would gather around, and among a lot of other various shit, they would talk about that game. I could never participate in those combos because I just did not at the time really care about Call of Duty. But it was
Yeah.
when Crash was not seen for those first couple years, and we're talking like the early 2010s, so like 11, 2012. Um, I'm like, okay, on my end, and people who have, if anyone's listening who's listened to multiple other podcast episodes, we get to this part of the this question in particular, and it's pretty much the same story. But for you, I was like, okay, with everyone, all my friends talking about Call of Duty and stuff, should I just give it a go? Should I like? But I also thought to myself in a weird way, I'm like, so is Crash just seen as a baby thing now? Like, is it really worth me still continuing to play Crash if like no one is going to, none of my friends know it, none of them really care about that much about it. Uh, Nothing's really been happening for a while, so I guess should I just like not be playing Crash anymore, and should I be trying like other stuff? So I remember literally going into GameStop, buying Modern Warfare 2 on PS3, and playing it with my brother, who I practically had to force to play with me because he had no interest, and and we were playing it, and I'm like, because I remembered some of the maps and stuff. I'm like, from watching my other friends play, going to their houses, and they're doing nothing but fucking playing Call of Duty. But I'm like, all right, so I'll just watch that. They asked me to play, and I'm like, I'll sit it out. I'll just watch you, because I didn't have an interest. But when I finally tried to play it myself, I'm thinking, well, if I can get into it on my own with no real outside influence, beyond me choosing to get it at all, and then if I can actually maybe play it, then maybe there's something there. And I just I could not get into it. It's the only Call of Duty I actually bought and tried to play, and I'm like, nah, man, this ain't for me. And ironically, I think it's so funny. This is the one that kind of did it for me. I was bored one day. I decided to play something. I decided to play Crash. I popped in Titans, and I'm like, nah. Crash is still fun. Crash is still. I love Crash. I can't just because for a while I was trying to give up playing Crash. I just was like, if it's seen as too much of a baby's thing, and no one's talking about platformers, and I might as well try to like play what everyone else is playing. And it wasn't peer pressure. No one bullied me or convinced or coerced me to playing it. I just wanted to try it to see if I could fit in that way, and I couldn't. And I'm just like, and it wasn't like I was ashamed or anything like that of myself for not being able to do it. Like I was like annoyed or angered at myself. It wasn't even like that. It was just, damn, I just don't like these games. And then it came right back along to acceptance. Where I'm like, yeah, you know what, fuck it. I mean, Crash is still fun. Spyro's still fun. I know they're in weird places or they're not around right now. We've got Skylanders, but Crash just isn't around. But you know what? I've got the old games to fall back on, and that's all fine and good. And of course,
Yeah.
when PS All Stars came around, Crash wasn't there, but Jeremiah Isaiah was like the first guy I found that was talking about Crash and really fighting to see him return. And I'm like, oh fuck yeah, like, only to find out
He
later
wa
that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say that I remember that quite strongly. Actually, his reactions to things at the time is yeah, he really made a name for himself on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
But yeah,
uh,
sorry. To
I
interrupt.
was gonna say it was only to find out that he was supposed to be in the game, but Activision was just asking for a lot of money at the time.
Yeah.
Um, but also PS All Stars came at a fucking weird time in gaming. I like to say it was a great idea. It was the right idea to celebrate PlayStation, just at the wrong time on the wrong console.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. It needed to be a few years later,
Yeah, PS4
really.
era definitely. When a lot of those
Yeah.
franchises were starting to come back, actually, like Crash and Spyro, Tomb Raider. Lara
Yes.
Croft wasn't in there because she was the reboots were still coming out. They weren't even out yet, and so if they just waited until like the first two or so games came out, they could have put her in. We got the
I
reboot
want to
version
say
of
there was
Dante.
like a yes, exactly. We got that version of Dante. But this is the thing, because that era, a couple of years later, was where things started diversifying a lot more in games again,
Hmm.
and that's where I kind of rekindled a lot of my love for it, because it's like, oh, okay, good. It's these things are accepted again now.
Yes.
But yeah, I think PlayStation All Stars it was definitely my start of returning to things. And yeah, it's a shame. Activision and I want to say Square Enix were like the two that
Yeah.
were just being like grumpy about their
Yeah.
representations. Like, no, you can't have Crash, you can't have Spyro, you can't have Lara Croft, you can't have Cloud Strife. You know, it's very
Yeah.
much which I do think hurts it. But yeah, wrong console as well. I think it needs to be PS4. Um, yeah, yeah, but then yeah, you know, then I actually do start eventually trying out the Skylanders games. You
Mhm.
know, going like, oh, actually, some of these earlier ones are terrible, but some of the ones
Yeah.
like sort of the midway point onwards, I'm like, oh, actually, these are very competent platformers. Oh, these are quite fun. But also, they're very much in an era where platformers are still not kind of accepted, so they're kind of like beat 'em up platformers.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Um, no, but see, all of it factors in because, like, right before, because yeah, I mean, very, very quickly, I don't want to stay on this for too long. People know how I get about this, but like with Skylanders, I remember seeing it like Spyro's Adventure, I think, in like a Nintendo Power magazine, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Skylanders, Spyro's Adventure, what, Spyro?" And at that point, my last experience with him was with Legend, so I'm like, "Okay," and I flipped to where they were covering it, and I'm like, "Ooh!" I got slapped in the face immediately with Spyro's new design. I was like, I don't like that look. I don't like that look. What did they do to him? What a lot of people like to say that the Legend look looks so bad. I'm like, what the fuck? No, that is, at least he has the accurate colors to classic Spyro. What the hell did they do to this gremlin over here? What is this? Like,
yeah, the Gremlin Spyro of early Skylanders looks terrible.
I
It's
don't
like
like it. I
feel
don't
like
like it.
he's gonna open his mouth and go, "Kill me now." It's very much I feel you, I do.
um, and it was really funny because of course it had to be that was my first exposure to Toys for Bob, and I'm like, not that I hated them over it, but I'm like, what the hell did they do? And like, it was so funny because again, it still factors in because all of that goes down, and I remember when did I hear? I think Jerry had done a video about one of the PS4 ads, and it had that one iconic teaser with the Twinsanity
Ah,
render on the sign, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
yeah,
They acknowledge Crash, okay. And like around that time too, they had the PS4 like when they had the event revealing the console and some of the early games like Knack and stuff. They had their like opening little cinematic or whatever. I love that video. I fucking love it. Not even just because they have Crash and they acknowledge Crash in that, but like just the music choice and like all the different eras and like it's so sick.
yeah,
It's like this is the next generation. It felt like this is the next generation. And we're going to be doing something different. We're going to diversify everything out more, kind of the way it was back in the PS2 era, and PS1 era. And I'm like, hell yeah! And acknowledging Crash and their star and having some like Tekken in there and like one of the Spyro ads with the snowman. I'm like, oh my
yeah.
god, we're going back! Like holy shit, yes. Um,
Oh yeah, I remember that, and I remember the hype actually with that Twinsanity render as well.
Hmm.
In the what was it, on the sign or whatever? It's and like the chase of like people just going, oh my god, crash, crash, crash! Oh, this must mean something. This must mean something. Let's dig into everything we possibly can.
Yeah.
And it was like the buzz of that was real. I do remember it. And it was so exciting. I was like, oh, is it gonna come
Because
back?
it's
It's
like
gonna come back.
why would they? Why would they
Yeah.
go? I mean, if not just for the nostalgia of do you remember him, but like which they were doing anyway. But it's like, why so prominently? Why do you keep doing
Right.
it? Like, there's something going on there. Um, because that's around the time that I jumped in and was doing my videos around 2015,
Yeah.
right before Ether, right before the shirt tease with Sean Layden. Um, I we're talking about we're talking about this shit like I used to remember it happening like it was yesterday. Shit was like 12 years ago, 11
I
years
know it's
ago.
horrible to think about.
It's like, oh my god, the fucking way this all went down. And like, dude, I was looking for Crash Revival hints and speculations from any venue I could possibly get. Do you remember when they
Mm.
did that like fake virtual console Wii U like huge adventure and entrance were going to come to virtual console? Do you remember seeing that?
Oh, I actually don't remember that.
That is,
Um.
someone made a fake little video showing like their Wii U menu and like
Oh
the little
yeah, yeah,
channels
yeah,
had
yeah.
Crash. I
No,
was
I
like,
do remember the yeah.
oh, I was like, oh, could that actually? Is this real? Could that actually happen? Do you think that could? And I'm like, that could be like the first step in like the revival. Then they could do like because Crash for Smash was like the big movement at the
Yep.
time. I was like, they put it
Yep.
on Virtual Console, they put him in Smash, boom, he's in, he's back. Like, shit was crazy, dude.
Yeah, do you know what? I do remember that because there was a lot of people just doing the fake screenshots and things. Yeah,
Yeah.
for everything, especially Crash for Smash was a big one. And Crash never made it to Smash in the end. How
No,
dare he?
he's he's still a character. I have three. I have Rayman, Shantae, and Crash. They're my three. I would love to see for third party rep in a potential new Smash. I don't personally want a new Smash Brothers. That's a whole other conversation. But
I'm actually in the same boat. But yeah,
nice,
yeah,
nice. Um, but no, it all came full circle. The more they were like a bunch of other PlayStation like. It was like PS France and like PS like Arabia, like the Arabian branch. They were like, they'd put shit up being like, who remembers this little guy? And it was like freaking uh, Wanted, Crash Bandicoot, last seen, whatever, 2008. And I'm like, what are you doing? What does this mean, dude?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Sean Layden had to
Very
come out.
suspicious. Sean Layden. Yeah. That Crash shirt, not even bringing any mention to it. That
Nope.
keynote event, and like everyone, you can't do that, and everyone was like, "Crash shirt, crash shirt, crash shirt,"
Oh
and
man.
then it doesn't do anything about it.
That was that E3 2015 or was that PSX 2015? It was one of the
I want
two.
to say, yeah, I think it was the it was when was it? It was 2016 maybe.
Well,
I can't remember.
the
It
shirt
was. I
tease,
remember it being like at the end of the year. I want to say it was like a December thing,
the shirt
maybe.
tease was definitely in 2015. I couldn't remember if it's the end of the year. Then it had to have
Yes, it
been
was.
at
Yes, 2015. Sorry, yeah.
PSX. Then I think if it was the
Yes, it
end of
was.
the
Yeah, yeah.
year, because that
Yeah, it
was
was
always in
because then
December.
that's right. Yeah, and then it was actually the summer after that.
Yes. Then E3
Yes, yes, yes,
happened. Oh,
yes.
that E3. Yeah,
Oh,
man. She was wild. It was funny
what a
though.
time.
You speak about Skylanders though. It was actually funny because yeah, when I first, so of course I played the first one for Spyro, even if I didn't like the look. I'm like, well, maybe the gameplay is alright. Um, yeah, I just don't like how it babies you, man. Like, I'm like that Spyro never babied you. Like,
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
blobbers to this day I've got fucking beef with. I'm calling that motherfucker out. Blobbers. Hey Skylander, do you know how to open a door? It's like, what do you think I'm 3 years old? Like, fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah.
It felt so like
I
PBS Kids, and I was already done with all that. I was already like a teenager.
yeah. I think the first two are particularly bad for that
Mm-hmm.
actually. before before they wise up and are like, oh yeah, maybe we don't have to just
Hold their hand.
yeah, and they kind of still do, but not to the same extent.
True. Well, true.
Um,
As I found out when I played Imaginators, because I did that for Crash. Initially, I was like, I'm only doing this for Crash. I don't really care still about Skylanders. I just want to see how they handled it. Because I looked at the B-roll. I'm like, this Thumping Wumpa Islands looks fucking awesome. And I'm like, okay, because I remember being scared hearing the rumors. They were like, okay, we're either going to get like a reboot, a remaster of the 3 games, or we're going to get him in Skylanders. And those were the big speculations going around right before E3 2016, and I made a video about my thoughts on him coming to Skylanders like right before E3. And I'm like, nah, dude, I don't see that happening. I don't want it to happen, considering how they treated Spyro. He barely gets any representation. There are barely any like substantial Spyro the Dragon references in Skylanders. He doesn't really have screen time in the cutscenes and in the story as like a prominent member, even though they're calling him the leader of the Skylanders. I'm like, I don't buy it, dude. No, I just don't like the way they treated him, and I don't want them to bastardize Crash the same way. And they didn't. I was like, oh shit, this actually looks really fun. It's true to Crash, Crash 1 in particular. And there's fake Crash, as we later found out. I was like, oh shit, Uka's in there? I'm like, oh, okay. And even after that, I'm like, well, okay, you know what? We paid a lot of money for this. I got 2 packs of Crash and Cortex, one displayed on my wall right now to this day. At this very moment, it's displayed behind me. And one that I actually took out to actually play with. And I'm like, we put money to this. I might as well play the whole game and see if they have really, in fact, how much they evolved from the first one. And yeah, it's like how you said earlier. I did feel that there were little tiny gameplay things I had issues with in Spyro's Adventure that come Imaginators. They either like made stuff that took too long to do really fast, or you can jump now. So I'm like, okay, there's actual platforming, and like they didn't hold your hand so much, and the level design was still very simplistic, but it had some more depth to it. So I'm like, okay, and that chaos boss fight was fucking nuts. I was like, what am I doing? I'm fighting Ultra Instinct freaking chaos with dubstep at the back as Crash. What's happening? What are we doing? What is this?
yeah, it's brilliant. You kind of said what I was going to say anyway, and that's the fact of like, yeah, I'll check out Imaginators because Crash is coming to this first, clearly. And I was like, right. And at the time, I was like, I'm excited to play Crash in something new.
Yes.
So yeah, I got the Crash and Cortex starter pack actually, and I did. I did the whole thing. What I found was I was really pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed Skylanders Imaginators a lot. So I started with just the Crash level, and I was like, this is really well done. And I was like playing as Crash, enjoying it. I'm like, oh, I get to create my own little character now. And I end up getting loads of the crystals and was like, right, let's make a lot of the old Crash community people, like from Crash Mania and stuff at the time. I honestly, like, I have one for each element of like different people. I've got, so I've literally got a jump. I've got a jump button Skylander, and I've got a Fierce the Bandit Skylander, and all sorts. Yeah, it's funny to me, but like I enjoyed Skylanders a lot, and I was Imaginators anyway, and I was like, wow, it's like what, how this franchise, how this series has come along, because I really didn't like the earlier ones. I mean, it was terrible because then I bought loads of the Skylander figures and I got far too invested into it. But these things happen. But it tided me over until the Insane trilogy was released. So I'm fine with that. I still have those Skylanders somewhere, all in one big, giant, chompy thing. Chompy bin, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. But you see, the apprehension to really see Toys for Bob go beyond Skylanders and hearing that they wanted to do Spyro, it got me still a little worried just because I'm like, okay, I only know these guys from this. I found out later they did a lot more games way back in the day, of course. But having my introduction to them be Skylanders, I'm like, okay, I was just really nervous because I know it was cool seeing how they'd flip with Vicarious Visions to do Skylanders, and then Vivi going right out of Imaginators into Insane. I'm like, okay, well that's cool, and I know Vivi. They've got C and K in the Game Boy games. There's cred there, so it only makes sense to have them be the ones to bring Crash back. And despite what everyone says about Insane, all the criticisms, they did a fantastic job. Um,
Yeah, they were
and
absolutely the right choice to handle that.
sure, for sure.
The true comeback. Yeah, yeah,
And then when, of course, we were all fighting for Spyro, everyone was like, okay, Spyro next. And, of course, that's what happened. But then learning it was Toys for Bubble, I'm like, okay, well, guys, I'm over here, my dumb little, just one singular ass, like, I'm just like, as one person in a sea of people, I'm just like, well, for me personally, I'm like, guys, I hope you do understand to not put too much Skylanders influence into this. This needs to be Spyro the Dragon, not Skylanders. There is a clear difference. And then out the gate, like the first little like dev interviewee trailery thing that came out for Reignited, it was Josh Nidelberg and Paul Yan. And Paul, God bless his soul, he's fucking awesome. Still to this day with Realm Beyond, God, I see it. What ever happened between Skylanders and Reignited? Out the gate, Pollyanna was like, yeah, in one of the little bits they did, they're like, we know people know us from Skylanders, and it was fun to, bring Spyro into that world, but we do know this is, a different kind of, however he said it, but, it was like, they understood that he goes specifically like, the Spyro you see in Spyro the Dragon and the Spyro that's in Skylanders are two separate, entities. I'm like, oh, thank you for acknowledging you do understand that's the case. And like, it made me so much more confident, like right then and there, like, okay, I think what I'm seeing from the announcement trailer and these little clips there that came out after, there were some like really raw, like stray little like 12-second clips of like Stonehill and stuff. I'm like, okay, music sounds great. It looks like it plays fucking amazing. I'm like, seeing Spyro get the facelift, I'm like, this looks awesome. And I'm like, okay, they're doing it really well. And like, sure, they were rushed as well, and they had to outsource Spyro 3 things to like Sanzaru and stuff, and that is what it is, and it's whatever. But like, I think ultimately Reunited is still very, very. I mean, I'm playing through it at the time of this podcast. I'm playing through Reignited on my off time, just cause, probably to get into the Realm Beyond hype. But like,
yeah.
it's Reunited's still fun. Like Miharu and I always talk about our little things, like, oh, these glitches that happen just for no reason, or like, oh, when like the collision, something on all of these little technical aspects just didn't really work out, because sometimes there's little bizarre oddities in this game. It's just they were rushed, so they couldn't really fix everything. But like, even beyond all that, I still think that the 3 games were redone very, very well. And so it definitely made me go, okay, something happened where they're not treating us like babies. They didn't kidify Spyro. I mean, I know it's a kid's game, but it's just as much for us as it is for the new generation of kids, like straight up that were our age when we played the first Spyro games and the first Crash games. Dude, I love sharing this story because it really made me it was my first real instance of that generational gap, and it slapped me in the face. I remember one of my old friends, Gianni, if you remember G-Man Rocks back in the day, he was in the Crash and Spyro scene too. He had actually he came over to California to come visit me, and we hung out and we recorded some stuff for my Let's Play channel, and we did a little like, on Destination Mark, we did a little discussion video on camera with each other. So it was super sick, and I didn't expect them to actually be like, yeah, I'll fucking travel all the way over there to go visit you from the East Coast. But he did, and it was sick. And at one point we went to my GameStop that I have. Well, I don't think it's there anymore, unfortunately. But we were at GameStop, we were looking around, and as we were leaving, because remember, this is 2017, I saw these 2 little kids. I think it was a brother and a sister, and they were playing Insane on the kiosk, and I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. Like, I remember being that young and playing the originals. Like, fuck. It was crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and then you get to experience it all over again. uh, do you know, it's funny you bring up Toys for Bob because like their whole thing is like once I saw what they did with um both I guess their input into Skylanders, in particular Imaginators, and
Mm.
like Spyro, I was very interested to see like what they would do if they had full reign over Crash, and of course we eventually do get to see that
Yeah.
because I actually look at what they had, especially in Imaginators, and like actually there's some really competent platforming stuff in here. And I was like, okay, I really want to see what they can do because I was very eager, especially to see something fresh outside once the Insane trilogy and Nitro Fueled were done. I was like, right, we need something new now. And so when Toys for Bob were eventually announced for developers for Crash 4, I was like, yes, perfect. This is what I want to see. This would be so good. We've had the nostalgic part now. We've had the nostalgic return, and now we need this new fresh take and to see what they can do uninhibited. So yeah, it's that revival era is kind of a wild time actually
Yeah.
in general. Yeah.
I was hoping it'd fall down that path too. I was like, by the time of Nitrofield, I was like, okay, I'm loving all of these, remakes. They've all been super fun these last couple of years. I do want to see if we get, if and when we get brand new stuff, because I don't want it to just be, let's remake as many of these games as possible, and it's just kind of rehashing what came before, which a lot of people kind of wanted. There was a weird subset of people that were like, oh, I want to see Wrath of
Yeah.
Cortex remade. I want to see Twin Sanity remade. I'm like, there's a joke I made in the
Yeah.
video where I was like, let's just remaster them all, why don't we? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, no. I remember with the Insane trilogy, there was a lot of talk before we saw anything because you got to remember, like that E3 thing, we didn't actually see any footage
it's true.
of Crash from there after that. So I remember there was a lot of speculation, like, is it going to be actually remade, or is it going to be reimagined, and it's going to have the whole new just approach to it? And I remember there was a lot of which direction is this going to go down. What we got was great, actually. What we got was perfect. Well, no, what we got was what we got was the right approach.
Yes.
Being remade, as they said, from the ground up, which sort of became an industry phrase after that, which is kind of funny to me.
Yeah.
But it was absolutely the right approach, and I think it's yeah. I that speculation at the time though did have a lot of people wondering. Um, Especially as other remakes had kind of gone down different avenues.
Mm.
I look at Final Fantasy VII and remake. I mean, it hadn't come out yet, but the absolute approach of that was like, this is definitely not quite the same as the original. So, and I felt a lot of games did that with remakes. They had a full on reimagining, as I say. So, yeah, it was. I'm really happy with what Vicarious Visions and Beanox did with their takes.
Yes.
But also I was very eager for something new. So Toys for Bob came in clutch. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings on Crash 4, but I'll talk about those later.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for real. It was really good. The Toys for Bob era, as I'm calling it for Crash and for Spyro. The fact that it seems like, I think what Crash has been kind of missing, and Spyro, is, of course, when we had them at the beginning and they first came out and they were introduced to us, and it was, Naughty Dog doing Crash and Insomniac doing Spyro, one dev.
Yeah.
It was their vision, and they could do what they needed to do, and despite still kind of being rushed, you could see it in, like, Spyro 3, even the OG. Like, still
Yeah.
though, those games are still fun. They're still iconic, and they helped build PlayStation as a brand, and they became synonymous with the console. What we've been missing since they went multi-platform is the fact that they've been jumping, hot potatoing, as I call it, from dev to dev, publisher to publisher, just because they were moneymakers back in the day. And I feel Universal, for as kind of cool you could argue as it was for them wanting to keep them going, because for us as consumers and as fans, they're fun, but, like, for them it's the money. And it's kind of the exact thing that Naughty Dog, I can, I've seen a bunch of Jason Rubin interviews, definitely didn't want them to do. That's why CTR exists the way it did. They tried to kill Crash off and keep him a PS1 kind of in that orb of like, okay, let's try and end him while he's very, very at the top of in his prime, and then move on.
Yeah.
Let's just move on, and they didn't want to move on.
Yeah, if we take what Jason Rubin says as gospel there, because I do I do suspect he might be making some things up here and there. It just seemed to say strange things like that. But yeah, and with the whole Oxide thing. But no, I do get what you mean. I do get what you mean. Yeah. I think Crash is in a really precarious position right now, because it's like, I feel like the problem he's facing right now, I feel like we've almost entered a new hiatus right now. But I feel like a good part of that is down to his the age-old problem of him having a different publisher and being passed around, and like now Microsoft seems to own the rights to the thing, but Activision's also involved, and like, what is it? It's just a real mess now, and I feel like it's the same old problem, but now it's now it's
True.
Microsoft is involved, so it's kind of really frustrating because
I think, in my personal opinion, while that is definitely the case, and yes, we still had some hot potatoing even after the revival, with everything that's happened through Activision and through all the different devs that were and still are a part of Activision, but with VV being dissolved into Blizzard Albany, and like all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like with Toys for Bob still being around, thankfully, I mean they almost weren't, but like with them kind of splitting off from Activision, and the fact that they were able, I don't think they can say much like legally or whatever, but again, Paul and Lou are so funny because you can tell they just want to like make us happy and do right by us and by the new generation, and they want to just make fun fucking games that like they'll even try to be as transparent as they possibly can about their situation. For Realm Beyond interviews as of recent, the last couple months, they've been asked, so like how did this come to be and everything, and like, I mean, sometimes they'll look at each other before like answering the question, because it's like, dude, how do we talk about this and not get in trouble? Because like, you could just tell they wanted to be like, listen, man, we were dealt a bad hand. They were rushing the fuck out of us with the stuff we were trying to do. I mean, with the stuff we found out about Rumble, it got like shelved and then brought back and then completely overhauled. We're even lucky we got Rumble in any capacity.
Yeah.
But I think
I feel that too. I feel that, and I do feel like both Paul and Lou, like every time they do any kind of interview of someone, they always seem to be like, I don't know, they seem to be on our side. They want to be transparent for sure. Yeah, so they're great guys. Yeah.
And I think what we have right now, with them doing this at all, being able to go around Activision, and because Microsoft technically owns them, which they were the ones that bought the rights to Crash and Spyro, so I guess I'm still guessing. I'm not sure fully if that means Microsoft also kind of owns Crash and Spyro. So however that works.
It's weird, isn't it? It's kind of like what is, it's just a mess. It's like, what is the actual situation now? Is anything going to happen with it? Like who's pulling the strings? It's a real mess, and I do think that's a large part of what's happening with Crash right now. It's tough to say when he will come back as a result.
True, but I think that with what Toys for Bob kind of managed to do with Realm Beyond to get it actually going and going around Activision to go straight to Microsoft, that might, I mean, if played right and if played safe and if played, very, very to everyone's advantage, because I'm not even thinking about us, I'm thinking about like them and being able to just have the ability to keep doing what they want to do. If done all right and everything with Realm Beyond and it comes out without a hitch and does fine, we might be able to do what I think Crash and Spyro both need right now, which is to be under one dev again. And if it's Toys for Bob, then I mean they've proven themselves times and time as of late. So it's like, well, hell yeah, if they're going to be the Crash and Spyro guys and it's just them and we're not piggybacking and like hot potatoing anymore, it might as well be them. And there's other stuff they want to do. I guess they keep saying they want to do a Banjo remake or whatever, but like, if they end up just being Crash and Spyro, then it's like, okay, and then they flip between them, but with enough time in between, it's like that might actually kind of work.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think, especially with how game development is now,
Yeah.
I think it ends up having to be two different developers and flipping between, but at least that's manageable. At least that is doable rather than I mean the revival era sort of suffers in some ways. And the fact you got three different developers
Yeah.
basically. So you get this very different take when it comes to Crash 4 visually compared to like the Insane trilogy. But Beanox, for instance, like Beanox coming straight off the back of Vicarious Visions with Nitro Fuel, they literally keep to the Insane trilogy designs. They
Yeah.
just sort of improve little bits here and there, which I think is the direction. That is the way to do it. So you just have a lot more consistency. But as soon as I think you get three in there, then things do get very muddled. You suddenly start getting developers that want to make their own visual stamp on it. Like,
Yeah.
where have we seen that before? Huh?
Right.
Radical.
Well, I
So
mean,
yeah,
a lot of the design discourse that's happening now with Crash 4's designs or Insane's designs, I mean, it's the tired old tale that we longer standing fans have had to fucking go through, from Wrath of
yeah,
Cortex to Twin Insanity to the Radical
yeah,
stuff. It's like we've been there, done that, man. Can we just fucking appreciate that they're back and they're as cartoony as ever? And I mean, so far we just have Spyro to go off of, but for Realm Beyond, as of right now, but for Realm Beyond, like his glow up is really cool, and it's not that different from Reignited. So like, at the very least, as of right now, anyway, I haven't heard anyone say anything bad about Spyro's new design. Um,
no, it looks great. He genuinely looks great.
because the direction, the art style, the art direction they seem to be going in is something very like, I think it's the detail they've always wanted to do for Spyro. I feel like Reignited could have looked the way Realm Beyond does now if just given the proper time. But the fact that they had to do 3 games, which is it's funny
Yeah,
how like you look at these trilogy remakes and it's like, okay, yes, there was a lot of asset reusing in the original trilogies, but like
hmm
they were all made almost a year apart each. They have to do
yeah,
these guys had to do 3 games, essentially 3 games, in like a year and a half ish maybe, um, and like so it's funny
yeah,
how just yes you have to unify it for like time's sake, for money's sake, but it's funny how as a result it's like, okay, it feels very, for as much thankfully as Insane and Reignited both have like their first games, their second games, and their third games all still feel like each one, but there's also this heavy I don't know if this is the right word for it, unification
yeah.
across all three, where it's like, okay, well, it just feels like one giant game and you're playing 3 different segments of it. um
Yeah, I know what you mean. I agree with that actually. Yeah, it does feel that way.
but like
Um,
impressive, but you know.
yeah, but it must have been a very tall order, I think, just because they had very short. They had barely any time to make these trilogy
Yeah.
remakes. I'm pretty sure it was reignited. Wasn't there a lot of like development help on Spyro 3 for that one?
By Spyro 3,
I
yes,
want
they
to
had
say.
to outsource to like
Yeah.
freelance like animators and stuff, because there's an animator I follow on Twitter, Lemur Feature, and they had designed a bunch of different NPCs in Spyro 3 because I recognize the art style.
Yeah. And
um
that's no surprise. I think when you get that kind of time, at, a terrible time crunch, really. Yeah, what can you do? I mean, yeah, it makes sense that they had to do that, and yeah, such a shame. Because I actually think Spyro 3 honestly kind of suffers in the reignited trilogy.
yeah, yeah, I'm on Spyro
Yeah,
3 right now, like I was saying, my little binge, and I, I don't know why I'm trying to 117% this thing again, but it's like,
why?
man, every time I come back to this, it's fun when you're just running through and you get to the first sorceress and that's it. But doing the cleanup and doing all the 100% nonsense and completing everything,
Why? You're crazy. Almost as crazy as 200% in Crash Bash.
Crash. But I'm not there yet. That's
Mhm.
Abdul and Fez, and no, I'm not doing that. But it's just been really cool to see like the evolution of, okay, where are these guys? What's happening with them? What's going on with Spyro and Skylanders? And like, will we ever see Crash again? To like, just a little breadcrumbs, and the fact of like the teases started as far back as 2013 with
It's crazy. Yeah.
all that stuff. Um,
I do think Crash and Spyro are so intricately linked though, so it makes sense like to follow the Spyro I guess franchise and see what's happening there, and to see like, is Crash going to follow in Spyro's wake, or is
yeah,
Spyro going to follow in Crash's wake? Yeah, it's nice. It's great to see Spyro's, doing well now. It's his time to shine, to be fair. But
finally,
I
yes.
do, yeah, but I do eagerly await like what's going to happen with Crash.
For
It's
sure.
yeah.
Well, considering we were gonna get Crash 5 and like it was gonna explore just such crazy themes, I'm like, dude, this looks so good. What the fuck? We were gonna see Engine before he had his accident. We were gonna see like fucking just like I think Pinstripe's family or something. We were gonna see like all kinds of crazy stuff with the villains. We were gonna fight Tiny in like a money pit. Like what the hell?
What?
Like so many cool
Yes,
things they were gonna do.
tiny and money, the two things I associate with one another.
Yeah. Like what was the reasoning behind all that stuff? Like it's
Yeah.
crazy. But then when it became Crash and Spyro, and it's like, oh my god, this is what people wanted when they were, you know, chastising Spyro Orange and Crash Purple, being like, well, that's not what we want. We want like a platformer with them, and it's like, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, it was true. I remember that was a big thing back then. It was like, oh yeah, they're finally together. Oh yeah, they're doing finally this sort of dual game thing, and then just everyone was like, what is this?
Why is this a party game?
This is not what I wanted.
Yeah. I mean, I absolutely loved that era because growing up with both of them and seeing all the references, finally having them mash up together, it's like, oh hell yeah! And dude, I still have I only ever got one, but we had over here a promotion where you could buy like a gummy snack thing from like your local store, and you had a chance of like getting a Crash or Spyro card with a character on it.
Well, yeah, do you know, we had this weird thing of like, if you pre-ordered the game from particular retailers and stuff, this being either Crash Purple or Spyro Orange, or I guess Crash Fusion as it was over here.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like, you would get this little pack of cards,
that's
like,
cool.
which I still have somewhere. The little pack of like some of the characters from there,
Yeah,
and you'd get what you get a Crash one, and you had a Spyro one, and they had like Cortex and Entrance and Crash and Crunch in them, and I was like, wow, these are awesome. I love little things like that. You don't really, there's so much less common now, but
yeah,
yeah, I love stuff like that. And that era was great actually, because you there was actually Crash. There was a lot going on with Crash, because that you you had. I mean, Twin Sanity was pretty much in that same.
it was close.
Came
Yeah,
out shortly after, and so it felt like Crash was getting like, oh, you get handheld from Vicarious Visions, and you get a platformer from someone else, and it was like, yeah, okay, he's popping, he's lively, he's got stuff going on.
yeah. Um, yeah, that one card, it was Cortex. I only ever managed to get that one, but
No.
yeah, but it was cool. I still have it. It's on my shelf right now, and I forget how I think it was just with one of the games, only with one, not the other. But I have there was the little protector cases. It was a little tiny. It was the size of the cartridge. And mine is orange, and it has both their faces on it. And there's a purple one for Spyro, but I never got that one. I don't know why I didn't.
Oh,
But
that's so cool. That's really cool. I don't think I've seen that before. Yeah.
yeah. Um, no, you are absolutely right. That was the time where both of them were like, I don't know if it was as far as third party longevity goes with how many games were coming out. Yes, they were in their prime in that sense. There was just a lot happening with them at that time. In fact, there was so much happening. I love to point out the inconsistencies in the renders for Crash, dude. Holy fuck! Like the amount of times I've seen Twin Sanity crash before Twin Sanity and just didn't know it blows my mind.
I know.
Like,
I know. Yeah, I mean, those cards actually is funny bringing that up because the Twin Sanity render is kind of on the front of the card pack, and it's
Yeah.
it's really strange.
Well,
Yeah,
his
even the case. Yeah, Spyro, no, Crash Purple, I think, is a
yeah.
weird render.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
Twin Sanity render. Well, it even goes
yeah,
further
yeah.
before that. Like he was used on the Engage version of Nitro Kart.
Oh
Like
no, was he? That's so ridiculous.
that one pisses me off in the sense that the Engage um, cover for Nitro Kart has Twin Sanity Crash. I think it's Wrath of Cortex, and Tiny, and then I think Coco actually is in her Nitro Kart look. I'm like, what is happening? What is this? What
Do
consistency?
you know what?
Nah.
Yeah, yeah, that was quite a thing, and this all comes down to the developers and the different developers and like their takes on things
And the
again,
overlap.
and yeah, exactly, and then clearly Activision or I guess Universal back then in their whole marketing just going,
But it
we
confused
use
all
all
of the
these
kids
elements.
now.
Yeah.
So funny. All right. I guess we've come up to the final question of the episode, which is, what are your thoughts on the franchise turning 30? Which era would you say was the strongest between of Crash, between like the PS1 days, all the middle stuff, and then what we have now? And can you recall any like just particular special memories with any of the games you've had throughout the years?
Mm. Yeah. Okay. So this
Big
is so
30.
it's quite three questions in one. Yeah.
Yeah.
30 questions in one. Yeah. So Crash being 30, it's still crazy to me. It's like he's all grown up,
My boy.
but he's set off. He's left home, but where is he now? So yeah, he's
He hasn't called in a
yeah.
while.
He hasn't called in a few years. It's wild, by the way, to think Crash 4 was already 6 years ago.
No.
That
Right.
kills me. But yeah. So your first question: how do I feel about Crash turning 30? So he's. Do you know what? It's nice to see that he's still remembered by a lot of developers and a lot of the industry in many ways,
Yes.
because he was the unofficial mascot of the PlayStation, and he's kind of an icon in his own right, which is great because I think a big part of that comes down to the fact that he's a platformer that isn't human. Um, so style is on his side, no matter which era, and it's great because it means he still works in this era as well. Like, take away some of the 90s fluff that he has, he still works. He's a character that survives any sort of time period, and he can still do that. He's cool, he's wacky,
Yeah.
he's a little bit not all there, but he's great and it's great fun, and I really like that he stayed about. Yeah, sure, he's disappeared for a few years, but right now, but I have no doubt he's going to come back again at some point because his character has that universal appeal,
Yeah.
and
They put it
that
in.
longevity. So and I do think his relationship, genuinely, I think his relationship with Spyro does help as well.
For sure. Yes.
I think they both sort of carry each other forward in many ways. So it's great. It's great to see him turning 30 and to see like where he's come from as well. Like he has this rich history of like this tapestry of games that all sort of vary depending on which developer takes a hold of him. Um, so I always like to say like Crash has something for everyone because there is a different game that has something that appeals to someone, no matter their preferences in platformers, or maybe they're a little bit more into the sort of beaten up style of gameplay. They're like the radical games more. Sort
Yeah.
of not entirely here for them personally, but that's going to be someone else's cup of tea or cup of coffee. So, and that's great. I think there's some greatness in that. So, if I were to look at his whole sort of franchise history and go, oh, what's his strongest era based on one of your questions you said there? It's. I actually, weirdly, I actually think his revival era is his strongest.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think a lot of people could say, oh, his original era, original PS1 era, whatever. And I do think people could probably make a claim about his era after that, going, oh yeah, there's a lot of variety and there's a lot of fun, and the era of Twin Sanity and such. But I actually think his revival one is his best, because he comes in and he goes, hey, do you remember the originals? Here they are, but also with a slight update, so you can actually play Crash 1 without feeling like you're going to get frustrated by the save system. But here's the high road instead. So but I look at that and I go, well, there's something. You got this literal trilogy remake of games, so already you got 3 in 1 that have been remade in high definition. There's going to be something there for everyone. Oh, here's a racing game but better. Here's everything you remembered, but now you've got all the characters, and you can change the carts, and you can play online, and you can do everything that you want, which is great. And it's like, and here's a new game in Crash 4. It's like the momentum just keeps going. It's great. There's something there, and it's something like we all want and appeals to everyone. So Crash 4 comes along and says, oh, well, here's finally the whether you like this or not, here's the 4th entry in the series. With something you haven't seen before. We're going to make it like a modern style platformer, but it's going to have all the classic Crash stuff that you remember and love, and it's going to be a full-on experience, and it's great. It's great. It's just continuous, and Crash on the Run's there for the people that are more like phone players of more casual kind of games. That's there. Then you got Rumble for the more battle online oriented people that want that sort of thing. So I feel like the revival era is actually that series of 5 games in particular. It is just really strong, because all of them are firing on all cylinders in a particular kind of way for a particular kind of audience. And I think they all do hit the landing in some ways. They do in their own unique ways. I do think there are a lot of things they could be improved on for the majority of them. I do think Crash 4, for instance, I think they do cater a little bit towards the, oh yes, we're going to cater to the people that played the series growing up, so we're going to make it harder, because those gamers are going to be great, right? Maybe not, because it's actually a deterrent a little bit for me personally, that I can't just pick up and play it like I can with all the others, most of the others, and that's fine. But then you have, I know there's been plenty of people on this podcast that have loved Crash 4. It's like their favorite game, and they play it again and again and fully complete. So again, it's there is an audience for each one of these. And that's great. I think that's great. So I think that's the strongest era, which I do think is also different from my favorite era. And my favorite era is the sort of more PS2 time, because I'm weird like that. I'm like, oh yeah, we could have this sort of not really free roam Crash Twin Sanity game, or we can have this really janky Crash of the Wrath of Cortex game that I strangely love.
I mean, I do too.
And everyone else is like, yeah, you do.
Yeah, Wrath of Cortex. That was my first PS2 game.
Yeah, like awesome. It was, well, my first PS2 game was Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, but Wrath of Cortex was again one of those ones where I was like, oh yeah, I'll play it over a friend's, and then fully complete before I got it. But I love the Wrath of Cortex. It's kind of janky, but also it's like it's classic Crash doing its own thing.
There's still a charm to it, yeah.
So I kind of like it for that reason. I like it has Nitro Kart in that era. I did like Nitro Kart a lot, even though it's slow. It's got its own problems. I liked the variety in terms of that. But strongest, revival. Yeah, memories. You said memories. What memories I have? What memories don't I have? What memories don't I have? I see it all. I see everything. A real weird one is I have so many memories that are tied just inexplicably with the Crash Mania forums in particular, I think, though. So, there was a whole meme for years that you had, my aunt in Saudi Arabia or whatever had, found Crash Advance 4, And I remember that was a meme for years where people said, "Oh yeah, I found Crash Advance 4 at this market, and blah. Does anyone else remember this game? Blah blah blah." And it was like a copy pasta thing. And then eventually, I think it was Fierce the Bandit said, "Oh, it's real," and he pointed to a listing on eBay and was like, "Here's a Game Boy Advance cartridge of Crash Advance 4," and I was like, "No, that's not real." But Fierce also being in the UK, it, I was like, well, hang on, what stops me from getting this right now? So I did, and I was like, right, I gotta experiment with this. I gotta see what this is about. Um, and the cartridge didn't work at first, so I had to do a lot of cleaning up, and I have memories of like cleaning up this thing and being like, wow, okay, and then finally it worked and being like, oh my, it's the thing, it exists, it's real. It actually is a bootleg Crash game, and it's terrible, but my god, the world needs to see this. So I remember I went through so much to try and um, get this out to the world. I wanted to ROM dump it first, actually, but it took so long to ROM dump it because it was in such bad state. So I remember I was like, right, the next best thing then, before I can ROM dump it, record the game, record the whole game. And I was like, okay, let's get an old GameCube, let's get a Game Boy Advance player, let's make this,
My God.
you know, yeah. It was weird. So there's a real, you know, it's not exactly high quality, but it's like the full version of video of the game, like finally recording it, getting it out to the world and being like, here it is. And then finally, ages later, being like, oh, I ROM dumped it to the world. And now the world has Crash Advance for better or for worse. So I remember things like that, and a weird sort of history around that. And I remember just all kinds of little things. But I have to say, it's mostly very community related. So even though I have memories of Crash, it's actually the community, the Crash community, and I still speak with many members of them, like we're like best friends still now. And it's like, yeah, I suppose it's weird because well, we have this shared history, and it's like, yeah, we've been, I guess, yeah, I've known you for like way over half my life. So it's like, oh yeah, yeah, it's weird to think of it like that, but it's great. And we still keep any info that happens, still keep each other. We poke each other about it and we're like, hey, have you seen this? It's like, oh my god,
That's really cool.
which is great. And yeah, it's that, and I do, it's nice to see the community have come together from it, and it's not without it's definitely had its ups and downs. But I do like the whole community thing. So something like this, the Bandicast is absolutely something that is like my favorite thing that's come out of the Crash community in general, because it's like, here's something that brings everyone together in this new format, and keeps the Crash flame alive in many ways in discussions. So these things are my favorite things. So,
I mean,
and back
valid.
when I was on Crash, I even back when I was on like the Crash Mania forums, like I remember being quite, but before stepping down anyway, like I made quite a conscious effort to, like, when new people came on there, I was like, oh, I'd do a community outreach and be like, hey, welcome. Here's some other stuff going on, and there was like community stuff going on about fan-made Crash games, and that would be made on the forum and shared. And now that's still a whole thing, and that's developed careers. And I see Taranuk out there in the world doing his thing, but and it all stems from those sorts of days, or Jump Button, or literally everyone else who's like formed whole careers based on different things that have come out. Like Kevin with his art, he's doing art for everything now. And it started on the Crash forums, him doing influenced heavily in some ways by Keith Webb's art style and adding his own flair to it, and it's great. I see all that, and I think that's my favorite stuff, all of that. That's a really long-winded answer, but there it is.
No, I like it. That's actually it's something I've never really heard explored and talked about. in as much detail before here on the podcast. So like I said before, with me being as young as I was for the time that I was starting to really find the internet and like learn, oh, you could just look up Crash stuff, or you could, and it was still, yeah, even still in its infancy, so you couldn't look up a whole lot, but like the fact that there were discussions going on and things happening, as I came to find out later, because I wasn't, I don't know if I'd say the age for it. I just didn't know that kind of world existed. I was still trying to find people who talked about Crash. I just, because I didn't know it existed, how would I know to look up something that I wasn't aware even existed, right? So like,
Right.
I just happened to miss out on it. But if I knew about it, I definitely probably would have, like I said before, I probably would have met you guys way earlier than more recently. But it's only happened recently because, again, how you're saying, like, we're trying to come back together now that Crash and finally Spyro have new games now, and like, and the community kind of connection and camaraderie, again, like I keep saying, is really alive right now because with Spyro, real quick, I'm starting to see, yeah, there are people who are also, you know, really big artists or whoever, other content creators probably too, that weren't really doing much after kind of reignited, because that was their big thing if they were that huge of Spyro fans. But then like with Realm Beyond, now they're like back in the space, and now I'm starting to meet a lot of them, and I've met a lot of people as of recent. It's probably been my record for meeting people so quickly when something new happened, you know. And like,
Yeah.
now I kind of want to get them on the podcast to see if they have Crash stuff to talk about and like things like that, and finally getting, you know, guys like you on. It's like I want to talk. I really want to talk now about like just all things Crash, reminiscing, or on Miharu's end with Spyrocast, talking about the newest and the latest and what's happening with Realm Beyond and stuff.
Yeah, well, even Miharu, like I remember when I because I found out she was Bunny on the
Yes,
Crash
yeah.
forums,
Yeah.
and that blew my mind because I was like, oh, see, like I feel like even hers like careers have like spawned and
Yeah.
developed and flourished as a result, which is nuts to me. But great, it's really good and it's lovely to see. It really is. So those things are absolutely my favorite. And you know, it's gone other days where, you know, I just go on any forum and just be like, right, I'm going to write some boss guides or little guides around or whatever. It's now like, yeah, like let's go on a podcast and discuss all this instead and contribute to the wider community. And I'm here for that. And I see, you know, even Canadian guy, like for instance, he's flourished. He's doing great. He's stuff as well. And I'm just like, but I remember when you guys were like starting out and just speaking, and yeah, I love it. I just love it. I love all that aspect of it.
To put that into perspective, I was introduced to him through another friend. Met him when he had 5,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Like, to say that some of us and some of him, you know, and everyone else like blew up. I mean, Haru blew up is an understatement. Like the fact they were seen, and I mean, even again, us doing what we do. What's so fun about it is because we're not as content creators and what have you. You don't have to be a content creator, of course, to speak your mind about Spyro or Crash or anything like that. But like, with us just making videos about like, hey, these are our thoughts on these games. These are our thoughts on the new stuff. These are our thoughts on these speculations. I've got some speculations. These are what we want to. These are the things we want to see in a new game, and just speaking our mind. I love this kind of because I remember what you said in the Twinsanity video where you guys talked to like the devs and all them and you got for Twinsanity, you got to discuss like the glitches and make them aware of like, oh, did you know you can take Cortex out of bounds and take them anywhere, and like you being able to like actually discuss with them like how these things happened or just stuff about the game is so cool. But it was rare back then. I think it was like because at that time YouTube was not really a thing, specifically Twinsanity's time. YouTube wasn't a thing yet. We did not have socials like Twitter and Facebook and whatever. I think MySpace was like the only real thing you probably had around that time.
Oh no, Facebook and Twitter were definitely around, but like they weren't the
Very,
spaces for this yet. Yeah,
yeah. Very, very different though. Yeah, I have
yeah,
to forget just how far back they go, but like, uh, but now with the fact that sometimes I don't know if I could clearly definitively say devs sometimes depend on they definitely love to hear the feedback, and so
yeah,
they reach
yeah.
out a lot of the time.
It's yeah. I think it is different now, isn't it? It definitely feels like there's a more active marketing strategy, should we say, with them reaching out to content creators and influencers. Whereas back then, it was very much we had to reach out to them to then start the discussions that then formed the relationship, and it was a
Yeah,
long play. It wasn't like an instant thing.
yeah,
Um, so it was very different. Whereas, I mean, for my day job, I do marketing now, so I totally get why that's shifted into what it is now. So it's very much, yeah, okay, it makes sense. It's a different landscape, but I do think, is it better? Yeah, I do think it is. It's just easier now. It's definitely better, actually. Yeah, I would say. But back then it was rarer. So I think you had people like, just in general, actually, some of the people in the community, like when Taney, for instance, or Tara does her like
mm,
Outcast Bandicoot thing, then
yeah.
people pay attention to it and notice. But now that would be probably lost in a sea of many others doing that. So I think it is harder maybe to stand out, but also easier to share the information that's presented from developers and such. So not a bad thing. It's its own good thing, I think.
I kind of feel that's kind of my situation because when talking about Miharu or Seiji blowing up, like I never really had that. I've had moments where I've made a video and it's gotten a lot of attention, but I've never had the consistency of like people come to me for like I'm one of the guys. I simultaneously am and I'm not one of the guys. Like, oh, if you want a crash guy, you go to so and so. If you want a crash guy, you go to Seiji. If you want a crash guy, you go to Mark. That's not really with me. That's not really the thing. Or if it is, no one's really come to me yet, so I don't know. But with like Miharu, if you want a Spyro
Spyro
girl that
thing,
can
yeah.
give you the news, that she's your girl. Like that's sick. That's awesome. I think it's really funny. I've gained some traction, I guess, and I'm not trying to talk about this in a stupid narcissistic way. I'm just
No,
saying from the basic perspective of like, I think it's cool. I obviously love that I've gotten the opportunities I've had. Getting invited out to Activision to play Rumble, getting the pizza box to promote Crash on Steam, and also the teaser for Rumble. And the latest thing being being one of the first members of Team Spyro, getting the chest and everything, and
yeah,
From Beyond. It's been awesome. And then of course, I, with the Activision event, I'm in the accolades trailer at the very very end for Rumble, and then now with this, at the time of this recording, one of the latest things we've gotten for Realm Beyond was that little video of like, the world reacts to Spyro Realm Beyond, and like we're in there.
right, yeah.
In fact, that I think actually, let me speak on that super briefly. That's funny because I thought a lot more people I would not have known. There were like two or three people I don't think I recognized. I love it starts with like Dave and Matt and CG and Aaron or Miharu, sorry, and me, like at the very end with my brother, like five people that are my close personal friend and my girlfriend right out the gate. I'm like, that is fucking wild. Um, that's hilarious. That's not just in the wider Spyro community. That is my circle. That is like that's crazy. Um, so I thought that was really funny. But again, it goes
But
to go ahead.
well, I was gonna say, but also, like, how could you not say you're not like a crash guide, like a crash guide to go to? Like, you literally have these developers like sending you stuff and
I
you're
mean,
like presenting it. How could you not think you're that? Come on, you're big. You're bigger than you think you are.
I think it's because my growth is very slow. Again, everyone else has boomed with something. Like CG had something that made him boom, and then they picked him like immediately, and he's like one of the guys. Miharu had something that made her boom. It was probably some of the Bianca talk, and whenever she does a big video on like prominent female characters in different franchises, like Crystal she did recently, Cinder she did a video on, and those blew the fuck up. So like she has things that people could fall back on. I mean, and not that I don't. I'm if you look up, Crash Bandicoot Iceberg, like mine is the biggest one, and that's cool. I do have my little things, and I'm not going to deny that. And again, it's not some self-indulgent. No, I'm just saying I do have some things, which is cool. My whole reason for doing this is just to be one of the people that can be out there to be like, hi, I do have opinions on Crash. I love Crash. I love Spyro. So if you want to hear what I have to say, and that's just kind of my whole shtick. But like, of course, I don't think it's egotistical to say you want to see a little bit of growth out of it, and not the money thing, but like to be noticed. And again, like I am, but the consistency isn't there, and like, so that's a whole other thing though. But what makes me want to do something like this, again, there's no clout involved, there's no this or that involved, because look, I did a thing with CJ, I did a thing with Lou, and they didn't blow up, but those conversations were fun. So, and that's why I wanted to do it. I'm surprised Lou even said yes. So, like, it makes me go, hey, how far can I take that? Can I, like, freaking talk to, like, Paul Yan or something? Or can I talk to, like, freaking, like, one of the voice actors or something? I don't know, but, it's cool because of the connection. It's the connection that I want. That's what I'm after, not the clout and not like views in the sense of I want to be famous on YouTube. It's more like I just want to fucking talk to people, man. I never had that as a kid. I never had for Crash and Spyro. I never got to connect with people that were my age at my schools as a kid. And my neighborhood friends like knew I was obsessed with Crash and Spyro, but they didn't. That's not what they were into. So like, I could play with them, those games with them sometimes. One of my friends, I remember, we used to play CTR a lot, but that's kind of it. And so it was kind of whatever. But like now, doing these things and getting to meet a bunch of people when stuff blows up. I mean, it has been cool. I guess you know what? Yeah, I mean, maybe I should give myself some more credit. Because like I said, some people have come out to me personally to invite me to stuff and do things. For Spyro right now, which is cool. I don't, the thing is, I don't, and I'm not trying to, what's the word, or the term, whatever, sad story. But like, I don't get that very frequently. People don't invite me to stuff. And that's just how it is. So like, but trying to, really get in with the community and like just talk to people and again to friends and to guys like you, they're like, you've been in some of my videos and stuff, but haven't got, this is our first time talking to each other,
right?
So and it's cool, and it's that's I think what so some of the special memories are with me, and of course with other stuff like some of the games. One thing I didn't mention earlier with Bash is that my grandpa taught me a lot of little tricks and things in some of the mini games in Bash, and he passed away when I was like 7. So he played games with me all the time as well. My mom and I played Spyro together, and so I've got memories like that with different family members, even before my little brother was born. So I think that's why like Bash in particular is still kind of special to me, and why I don't want to like soil that by trying to complete all this nonsense I've heard takes so much time and effort, and it's like not really worth it, and the minigames are whatever anyway, and it's like, well, the ones I like are the ones I like. The music is fun, the characters are whatever. So, and the biggest thing are the memories with my grandpa and with my other family members. So it's still a fun game for me. I'm not gonna let that the completion and the other crap ruin good memories that I have. So I still like Bash. But yeah, the community thing is a very strong point to talk about. It's why we're doing these in the first place. So it's cool to see that not only are we still here, and a lot of us have been there since the beginning, and a lot of us have been there since the forums, as you've been saying, and like, but with these more current and modern spaces to kind of click and come in and be like, yo, what's up? It's been cool to see. It's been cool to see a lot of people have not really. Some I've seen have moved away past Crash and Spyro, and that's totally fine. Some people have some friends I haven't heard back from in a long time, but like they were there, they were a part of it. I was there with them. We talked, we laughed, we played the games together, we shared memories. So it's all part of like our journeys, I guess, you know. Not to get too fucking weird and emotional about it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. And no, I think you should. No, you're doing a good job. I think you should keep doing what you're doing, and especially with the Bandicast. And I do look forward to hearing who else you get on here. And I love listening to other people in the community on your show, and you discuss things with them. I think it's great. So you keep doing your good job. You're doing a good job.
oh, thank you very much. I had to flood compliments by being silly. Oh, anyway. No, but no, I do appreciate it though. It's fun. I do it because it's fun. Um, and so I really want to see where Crash goes after Rumble. I don't know. I mean, there haven't been direct talks, of course. I don't think anyone's willing to ask Toys for Bob or Paul or Lou, hey, so Crash 5, what about that? And they're gonna go, huh? And they are not gonna like reference that at all. But it would be cool to see if they do something either with those ideas and like retool what they tried to do before, or like just completely make something. Crash is now in the same spot that Spyro was in before Realm
Yeah.
Beyond. Like before Realm Beyond, we were like, okay, yeah, we want to see a new Spyro game, but what would a new Spyro game even entail? We have
Right.
no. It could go anywhere, so we have no idea where it could go. And with Crash, with what they wanted to do, which is now out there, and it was so sick, and it's again just such a shame that it's never going to happen in that way, because a lot of those artists probably aren't there anymore, or whatever the case may be, because it was around the time all that silliness was happening. Um,
Yeah.
at this point now, it's like, okay, well, you know, let's see what happens. But even then, we don't really know what could happen with Crash. We don't know if they're gonna do a refreshed version of Crash 5. We don't know if they're gonna do just something completely different.
Right. Yeah. It's very uncertain right now. And that I'm okay with that for the minute, because I feel like as long as Spyro is getting something happening, and he absolutely deserves the spotlight right now, it
Yeah.
means that Crash is going to be somewhere not far behind. I feel like they're so interlinked now that I'm not worried about Crash's future, but I am eager to see what will come of the next thing that he has to do. But first, Spyro.
Yes. No, I definitely agree, man. You can only just stay cautiously optimistic and just be like, yo, when we see something substantial, we can finally start to gather a direction. I mean, that's what happened with Spyro. It's like when we caught wind that they emailed us being like, hey, we want to send you a thing. They didn't even say it was Spyro. In fact, we had to send an NDA. So I was like, ooh, okay, ooh, all right. So when all that happened, I'm like, okay. I'm thinking it's got to be Spyro. Like, how could it not be? And then, right, like 2 or so days before, it was 2 days before the trailer dropped, is when we got the package. So Miharu and I opened it up together, and we were like, oh my god, it's Spyro. So like, we had to sit on that for 2 days, and we were like, fuck, man, like this is gonna be hard. Like, and we were trying to tell people like, hey, if you don't see anything at Summer Game Fest, all I could literally say was just don't be disappointed, because maybe something just don't. It was, I didn't know how to say it. I was like, without saying it, because I didn't want to get in trouble. But I was just like, just don't get disappointed, because there are a lot of different showcases happening. So just, just wait. That's all I could really say at the time. I was like, I so badly wanted to be like, hey, it's probably gonna be the Xbox showcase.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be very careful with the wording. So yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that is the journey, and that's it's just it's so fun to follow for how consistently inconsistent things can be. That's what makes it kind of fun in a way. It keeps you on your toes, so you're like, okay, well, This is happening, but this got canceled, but this might be happening, and this game's out, and this is a lot of fun, and then people might have their issues with it, so you talk to them about it, and you make videos about it, and it's like it's a whole thing. I think the discussion, whether good or bad, or shall I say positive or critical, I think is what really helps keep us as content creators going, because there's a lot to like chew on, and you can like have little debates that way. I think it's weird when people try to like bash others for having different opinions or just not like respecting their opinion, when it's like, well, I don't agree with you, man. Like, can we just leave it at that? You know?
Yeah,
And it's like,
I always find that strange. Yeah.
and it's like, I think the discussions, whether again positive or critical, like help to like, not to say, oh, we're gonna milk that shit for content, but it's more like, no, we get to discuss with. I don't want to just. I don't make videos on opinions and then give my own, because that sounds very egotistical. I'd rather do something where if I'm streaming and it happens to come up as a topic, we'll talk about it, because I can talk with them, with the chat directly about it, or like, if it's a topic that just happens to have a lot of buzz, I can talk about it and give my own 2 cents, and then kind of like weed through like, well, how is this opinion going around, and what does this mean for whatever is happening. So it leads to discussion. It's not me just throwing out my own opinion as if it's fact or it's right. It's just,
Right.
and I think having not just the positivity, but having the critical stuff there kind of helps. Or when people have differing opinions, like I certainly have a lot of different opinions for certain things compared to other people. But like, I feel like the discussion, if we're not doing it over the top for trying to be entertaining or trying to be funny or weird about it, like I think actually talking about it like in a more serious, like debate-esque standpoint, to be like, hey, let's actually kind of figure this out, why we think these things about these things, like it's interesting. That on top of being able
Yeah.
to do the speculation, to do the other content, like
Oh, it's
it's fun.
yeah. There's always you can always speculate. You can always do something on speculation to the sun rises and the moon comes up and the days cycle through each other. Like you can always do some kind of speculation video, I'm sure. But there's always something to talk about, is how I see that. Like whether it's a small a small topic, you want to talk about a particular character. Like I feel like there's always something, always.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I think that's it. I think
Yeah.
we've exhausted. Well, we actually probably haven't. I'm sure we could go on for much longer, but
But
for the sake of
for the time
time,
being, yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
it's been fun, man. No, again, I'm glad.
It's been great.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you enjoyed your time. It's good to finally have you on here, and if something happens with Crash down the line, and I do some other leg of the podcast that talks about that, and that's kind of the topic of discussion, I can definitely have you as a returning guest, and we cut through these questions. We just go to like, hey, the new thing. What do you think of the new thing? Like,
Yeah, happy to discuss that. Yeah, yeah. I'm always going to have an opinion on the new Crash stuff. So yeah, absolutely.
hell yeah, man. Well, if there's anything at all you've got going on right now that you are able to plug, anything you're doing online, what you got going on, man?
Right. Yeah. So obviously, I've stepped back from the content creator side of things, I guess. So
Mhm.
so my YouTube channel is just whatever. It's just it's just like, oh, it's me, it's Smaz storytelling. I just tell stories. But really, I suppose the main thing I've got going right now is that I'm currently currently about to release a book. I wrote a book
Ooh.
years back. Yeah, it's fiction. Wrote a book years back called Band Cramp. I used to march a lot in bands.
Nice.
So I did a whole fiction story about this, about a teenager who falls in with the wrong crowd, and he gets punished community service to march with a band. And the story is literally about him doing his thing, learning to become a better person. So I wrote that
Ooh.
years back, and now I'm finally doing a sequel, and I'm re-releasing the first one as well. So Bandcramp 2 is coming out September. So I'm going to plug Bandcramp and Bandcramp 2 for September,
Nice.
which will be available online. So there we go. And under my name.
Awesome.
Do I tell my actual name? Yeah. Well,
Very, very good.
you'll find it. I'm sure there's no other title like that. You'll find it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on, man. It's been really, really awesome having you on, talking about everything Crash and Spyro and Skylanders and other stuff. It's always fun when we get to deviate and everything.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Honestly, it's been great.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you on the next one. Until then, I'm Mark.
I'm Smaz.
Very, very good reaction time. A lot of people just are like, oh, shit. And we'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care.